CannoliSasquatch here with my co-host WhiskeyBanger, Whiskey and Cannoli's podcast, episode 3. Made it to 3 episodes, Tanner.
Dude, milestone.
By the way, I don't know if you're drinking today, but I got bubbly pineapple and coconut today. Oh, what is that? What I think it is?
That is
the real stuff.
It's only fitting since I'm WhiskeyBanger.
That's okay, All right. Well, now I got to eat cannolis on. I don't eat cannolis anymore, but am I going to have to start eating actual cannolis on the air now? Is that going to be my intro?
Well, I mean, you are a Sasquatch, so it works.
See, I got to combine that somehow.
Yeah. Do they make like gluten-free, keto-friendly?
Keto-friendly? Yeah, I think they probably do. There's a bakery somewhere. I'll find it.
I'm sure they do, right?
Yeah. So I got an idea. I wanted to run this past you real quick. So I'm going to get – my uncle actually had this idea of me getting a little stuffed animal Sasquatch with a Met hat, putting it next to me on the show. What do you think about that?
That would be outstanding.
I think it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And then when I, do some other projects, we can just, we can ask the Sasquatch for advice. See, that means you got to get like an Irish leprechaun.
Yeah, I got to get a leprechaun with some whiskey.
With like Swiss Miss shirt.
A little flask of whiskey.
I think we can make this work. All right, so we're going to get right into this here. So the first thing I wanted to talk about with you today is Mia Khalifa. Now, we all know who Mia Khalifa is. If you don't know, she currently, I believe, has an OnlyFans channel or did. Ex-porn star, right? So Mia Khalifa recently, and I want to get your take on this being ex-military, because this is hilarious to me. So ex-porn star Mia Khalifa says, serving in the U.S. military is worse than selling your body online. And I'm going to share this real quick with our audience. I want to know what you think about this, because she's talking about basically right here. Honestly, I think that selling your body, like if we are going by that definition, being in the Army is worse than being on OnlyFans because you're selling your body to the government. Now, again, being ex-Army, what do you make of this?
So my initial knee-jerk reaction is she is retarded.
I thought you were going to go there.
I would like to give her the benefit of the doubt and maybe
just being ignorant, maybe.
Yeah, like maybe she's meaning it in a different context, because the way I'm interpreting that is she's just equating I sell my body for money or I sell my body to the government for money. But that's not really the case. I mean, a lot of people join the military because they want to serve something bigger than themselves, right? They want to be in service to their country. They want to do things that can make not only their family and friends proud, but also like intrinsically, they're doing something that's something that they would never do.
Well, how about this? How about some people looking for, I don't want to say an out, but have no other choice, need it for education or future, just for a future period. You got a lot of, you were in the military. How many people did you know that were there that, not going to say they had to be there, but really just didn't have any other direction. Figured, let me do this. I can get a free education out of this. I got free healthcare if I stay long enough, possibly. Things like that. Yes, there is the grandiose thing of doing something bigger than yourself. You're serving your country. There's a lot of patriots who want to do that thing. But to me, that's where the difference lies. Because even here, people even say here, service to our country is not shameful. Now, she doesn't see an OnlyFans account as being shameful, because it is what it is for her.
She's a fucking porn star, so
she was an ex-porn star. Now she does have a lot of the stuff that came out after she was the porn star. How she's haunted by like right even here, those 11 videos that she made will haunt her till she died. She doesn't want to have another girl go through that stuff like that. So I think in a way the context. You're right. Maybe from people's point of view, it came off as disrespectful. Other people came across as Zelda's barks in the background, but came off as, like you said, just not have some other different understanding from that. But a lot of people took it as it's a disrespectful comment from an ignorant person who basically is just not intelligent enough to make the argument. So you, like I said, being an ex-military, is this offensive to you? Would you take offense to it, or would you play it off like, she's just dumb?
Me personally, I don't take it offensive.
Right.
I'm pretty much unoffendable, right? Like nothing really, like people can say whatever they want. They have their opinions.
Sure.
The problem that I have is that her statement is coming from a place of just sheer ignorance. Like, she has no ties to the military. She doesn't know anything about the military. She never served in the military. So, yes, she can talk about how she had these issues back when she was in the porn industry, and now that she has an OnlyFans, things are done on her terms, like, my body, my choice kind of stuff.
Yeah, she's very into that.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Big SJW person, very woke. Yes.
Right. Like, and if that's the case, kudos to her.
I mean, it's within her right to be that way, even if I completely disagree. But something like this, you're right, comes off as just, there is an ignorance to it. It's just not being educated enough to know the difference. And again, you want to be an OnlyFans person, you want to be a porn star. Like, I don't even care, really, to be honest with you. But when you're a public figure, this is one of the things you have, that a lot of public figures don't understand, is that they're going to get, flack for this. They're going to get pushback. She got a lot of pushback on this. Of course, she got a little defensive on Twitter and stuff. But I think from the outside looking in, there are a lot of people, including those who support the military. Now, maybe not military members, but support the military. They're like, how do you compare these two? Like, I think in the context of, maybe you agree or disagree. Yeah, you're giving your body to the government. The government can do whatever they want. There's nothing you can do at that point. I mean, did you ever feel that way being in the military? Did you ever feel like, holy shit, what did I do here? I'm giving myself up to this bigger thing, and the ideals that I had are not what I thought being in the military. And like, you don't have to go into these specifics because I don't want you to get shot by a CIA officer through your window. But you know what I mean? Like, you're looking past this. How did that go?
There's definitely parts of service in the military that you have no say in. So when it comes to certain vaccinations, like when I was getting ready to deploy, I basically just walked down this line and just doctors were lined up sticking me with needles left and right. They didn't tell me what it was. I have no idea. You can't say no. I mean, technically you could, but you would just get Article 15 and then kicked out of the Army and lose all the benefits and everything. Yeah. Dishonorable discharge.
Right.
So from that standpoint, yes, you could kind of construe that as, well, you don't have full autonomy of your body in the military, and you don't. But the beef that I'm having with what she's doing is she's dragging the military into it. Yeah. It's one thing if she says, if someone calls her out for having an OnlyFans or being an ex-porn star or whatever, fine, defend yourself. Say, hey, you know what? I did the porn. I didn't like it. I felt abused, whatever, XYZ. So I decided to move away from that and do my OnlyFans thing because I have control over what I do and what I say. Right. Cool. More power to you. But my question is, why are you dragging the military into this?
Yeah, where did that comparison come from? Like, why the military?
It just kind of comes out of left field. So
and that's my point. Like, I think she was trying to sound more intelligent, maybe bringing up a bigger, broader point that she did, and it just didn't come across well. And again, I mean, I'm not going to take anything she says seriously. Again, she can have her opinions. Maybe there are girls out there, women out there who were heading down this path that she did, and they're like, oh, okay, well, now I'm not going to do it because she had a bad experience. Fine. But again, it's like the comparisons to me are just crazy. I mean, you're talking about, you're selling your body online. People want to pay for that. That's their business. But to compare it to actually serving your country, and again, technically you're selling your body to the government, but you're not. I don't know, the benefits of coming out of the military outweigh this in some ways. I don't know. OnlyFans people do make a shit ton of money. So if she's making money and living the good life, fine. But this just came across as, it's just bad optics. Like when you talk about off the air, it's just bad optics. And I don't know. I mean, honestly, I saw this and I go, what did this idiot say now? It's basically the way it is. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, to me, it's completely unnecessary for her to bring the military into it.
Yeah, the military.
It has nothing to do with her life, her OnlyFans account.
No,
none whatsoever. I mean, she could have brought any other profession into the fold because, I mean, technically, you're selling yourself to the hospital if you're a nurse, right? You don't know what kind of stuff you're going to see at the hospital, communicable diseases, right? Like,
Well, I think
so I just find that it's very unnecessary. I could
Yeah.
understand why people would get offended by it, especially. I mean, picture someone like a military mom who lost her son in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And then for, this hussy, quote unquote,
being nice.
porn star or whatever, all of a sudden just speak up,
Just say
against the military and like basically bash the military. Sure, she's not directly bashing this mother, but it's
right.
You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It's unnecessary.
No, like I said, it's bad optics, and it's just weird. It's just a weird outlier, just to bring them into it. So anyway, yeah, I'm glad we got that out of the way because I really wanted. I had to get your opinion on that. So the next thing I want to talk about and move on to, because that was just a quick intro. So I know we were just talking about this before we got on the show about we talk cancel culture all the time, and it's just, I think people are just so fed up with the whole the cancel culture thing, where if you don't line up with somebody's beliefs or views and speakers, and you go to a college, you can't talk on campus. You go to a venue, you get canceled if the mob online counteracts it and they don't like what you have to say. They'll browbeat the freaking venue or the celebrity or whatever it is online until they basically say, no, we're not going to do this. So this happened this week with Dave Chappelle. We all know Dave Chappelle is probably the biggest comedian out there right now, right? I would probably say that's fair. Fair. So there was a story that he got canceled for a show in Minnesota. And I'm going to show you this. So this is the statement from the actual venue. I'm going to read this real quick. So it says, the Dave Chappelle show tonight at First Avenue has been canceled and is moving to the Varsity Theater. So basically it says, to the staff, artists, and our community, we hear you and we are sorry. Like, as soon as I read that sentence, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So we must hold ourselves to the highest standards, bullshit. And we know we let you down. Who are you exactly letting down? So they find out he's coming to this venue. And because supposedly he's anti-trans, which is not true, he made some jokes. He's a comedian who made jokes about transgender people. Then he gets, we all know what happened with Netflix. Netflix ended up backing him. They were protesting. And there were protests at Netflix about it. And then obviously that all got squashed. Eventually it just went away. As most things do when you let these weirdos just state their case and just kind of let it go. No one apologize. It eventually goes away. But here we are now. And then again, to continue on with their statement, we know we let you down. We are not just a black box with people in it. We understand that First Avenue is not just a room, but meaningful beyond our walls. You're a venue. You host events. So it's not like you're curing cancer or, I get it. You bring in people to a community and to a thing to gather and whatever. They're making it sound like they're more important than they are. The First Avenue team and you have worked hard to make our venues the safest spaces in the country. There's that word, right? The key words, safe space. And we will continue that mission. So basically it says, we believe, this is the part that drives me nuts with the double standard crap. We believe in diverse voices and the freedom of artistic expression, but in honoring that, we lose sight of the impact this would have. So you just contradicted yourself in one sentence.
Right.
We believe in freedom of speech and freedom of expression, but we don't believe in it enough to actually make that person speak or tell their jokes or whatever it is, even if you disagree. And we know there are some who will not agree with this decision. You are welcome to send feedback. Oh, they got feedback. Trust me. They got a lot of feedback. So this went on, and then Chappelle came out and basically just destroyed these people today on social media, and yesterday, I believe, or today. Just let me speak. It's like, it's a joke, man. And then you had the people protesting outside the actual place with their rights posters, and we have rights. It's like, he's come out and said he's all for the trans people. He's not against them. He wants them to have rights. He made a joke on a Netflix special, and it turned into a shitstorm. I mean, the thing is with this, they got a lot of flack, a lot of pushback on this. The whole idea of we'll get to that in a second too. God, I can't wait to talk to you about this trailer. The whole thing about this, cancel culture thing, this has been going on for so long now, and the whole idea of freedom of speech, which we know it only goes one way. People who are listening to this might not agree. Some people who are going to listen to it down the road might not agree. That's fine, right? You don't have to agree with my opinions or WhiskeyBanger's opinions. I don't think anybody should be canceled or shut down for their beliefs unless it's violence, inciting violence. And I don't mean the fake January, hearings. I mean, just in general with this. Like, what is your take on this? Like, you see this guy get canceled over and over again, but to me, it just makes him more popular. But I mean, when do we get to a point where just got to stop this crap? It's just obnoxious, and it's not really getting these places anywhere. It's just putting them in a bad light, and I think people are just sick of it.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. Even in that little statement that they put out.
Oh God!
It said, "We support diverse voices."
Yeah.
You just canceled a black comedian.
A black comedian.
Black comedian.
Yeah.
So, okay. Again, you're completely contradicting yourself.
100%.
You want this inclusion. You want diversity. You want all this. You have one of the most popular comedians on the planet over the last 20, 30 years. And you're going to cancel him.
Yeah.
Because he has a different opinion on some things. And he's
joking.
In my opinion, he's like 95% joking. Yeah. I'm sure there's some hints of truth behind that. Like he has certain feelings.
Well, he picks on everybody. If I remember, he goes after everyone. He makes Trump jokes. He goes
people all the time.
White people, his own people, Chinese people. I think he's married to an Asian or Oriental. And then the trans thing, he's just come out and said, "I'm for this. These are just jokes I'm making, and they're funny." And it just gets to a point where you're like, why even appease these people? If you just would have let it go, nothing would have happened. You might have had some people protesting maybe outside the venue. But this is the whole reason why I think the tide is turning slowly with the culture in everything. Because people are tired of this crap. And this ties into I know I've talked about this numerous times. I made a video this morning about the whole comic book industry and this Eric July Rippaverse thing. It's just, you saw, $3 million he's made already in 12 days on a funding thing. And everybody who talks to him, who's for him, is like, thank God you're doing this. Like, you're putting your money where your mouth is. You're actually showing up. And this is another thing. He's another black man creating capital who's not a liberal. He's not actually a conservative. He's a libertarian. And he just doesn't follow that party line leaning left. And again, these same people who talk about inclusion, talk about wanting black Americans to have equity because they don't have enough because the white man keeps them. This is a guy who saved $200,000 of his money over a decade, built this company, hired writers away from Marvel and DC, by the way, who did Batman comics. And I believe, I want to say Iron Man. I'm not 100% sure. But they worked for Marvel and DC. And Marvel and DC screwed them, so they came to work for him. He's actually paying them more, he said, than Marvel and DC did on a 200. I don't know how much. Now, a lot of this money he's using for the business, so he's probably paying his employees with all this and that. But he's not profiting from this. He's not keeping the money. He's doing what you're supposed to do. He's making the profit and turning it right back into producing more comics and hiring more people. But even he said it on a stream the other day or yesterday that because I just don't understand white liberals. And it wasn't a racial thing with him. He was just like, I don't get how they have the right to come at me and tell me what a black man should be like. Because he said his libertarian and conservative white friends, pat on the back, you're doing an amazing job. This is what the culture needs. And not because he's putting politics that they agree with in the comments. He says, I'm not doing anything political. I don't want to do anything political. But you know what it is? And even he said this on a show. We're at the point where things have gotten so crazy with just this inclusion and woke shit in every industry. Anything that is not political is considered conservative right-wing propaganda now, right? And it's not. It's just he doesn't want anything in his comic. And then again, there was one thing I thought you would laugh at. Somebody said he has a young Luke Cage ripoff comic, like his main character, and he stole his ideas from Marvel and he's been called some vile shit online and from white people. Now there are a lot of people who are in the industry who are young black comic book writers coming up that are going after him, of course, and he's taking, he's dealing with that. But to me, it's the white liberal. It just cracked me up because it's like, where do they get the right to come across? And I'm not, again, I mean, I wouldn't have the balls to go online and call somebody out for, if I didn't agree with them, like Mia Khalifa. I'm not going to go online and just start tearing her apart. I might make fun of her on the show because that's what we do. We just talk about topics, but I'm not going to go out of my way to call her name. It's like, why?
You're not going to attack her.
I'm not going to attack her. I mean, this technically would, some people might see this as an attack. It's not. We're just making fun.
I don't.
No, it's not. So like, what do you think between the Rippaverse thing and Chappelle? Like, do you see the culture? I don't get back to this. Do you see the culture changing a little bit where people are so fed up with all this bullshit? I personally do, from the people I follow and watch. They've gained so much popularity on YouTube, and YouTube is a major, powerful force now for content. And the old guard, as they call them, right? That was part of my video, is what they call them now. The old guard, the old media, access media, the news, they're dying. And this is the new thing. What we're doing is the new thing. So do you see this in 5-10 years going back to what it was, or at least kind of being comparable, like somewhere where we can just kind of have enough of content on this side to where this shit isn't a problem anymore?
I think it's going to shift. I think personally, I know several people who are moderate Democrat, maybe even some that would tiptoe on the line and maybe even being like more liberal.
Yeah.
Who are just done with the double standards. They're done with the lack of logic. Like, I mean, take this Rippaverse thing right now. Liberals are constantly talking all day long about diversity, equity, equality. Here you have a, somewhat of a young, I mean, he's probably in his 30s.
I think so. Yeah. If he's more in line, like mid 30s.
He's probably like my age, right? So like a somewhat young black man, established himself with his own money, had plenty of opportunities for other people to come work for him.
Of all different races and creeds. He said that.
Exactly. So
hires everyone.
He's living that quote unquote American dream of starting his own company from scratch.
Busted his ass.
He wants to push that, diversity, but not in like a obnoxious,
not in the liberal way, but in a good way.
Like in your face, like, well, we can only hire this. No. Hires a diverse crowd of people, all different races, gender, whatever. So theoretically, that's what the liberals want. Successful black man to bring diverse comic books into the world. You need a black character instead of taking traditionally white characters like Batman, Superman,
and changing them,
changing out the
genders, or making them gay all of a sudden. You mean?
Yeah, all of a sudden they're gay. All of a sudden they're female. All of a sudden they're black, Asian, whatever. So this theoretically should be what liberals would want from him.
No, but because they don't line, he doesn't line up with them. They're calling. I mean, they're calling. I can't emphasize enough. The stuff I've seen is like, what? And they're still on social media. They're still on Twitter. They're still allowed to stay on their platforms. But if it was the other way,
right?
We all know.
So when people drop the N-bomb to this Rippaverse guy, and then drop the N-bomb to Supreme Court Justice.
Yeah.
Friggin'. They don't get canceled. They don't get called out.
No. Well, it's because they
double standard.
Yeah, there's a major double standard, and we know why, because they have control of the media and outlets. And it's nothing new, but the bottom line from what I see makes these people the craziest and angriest is because they can't cancel him. He's his own boss. It's his own money. It's his own company. He built it, everything from the ground up. You can't cancel the guy. And he said that. He goes, I'm like, who are you going to complain to? Yeah. Like, where are you going to go?
Let me speak to your manager.
I am the manager. I'm the president, CEO. So, like, stuff like that makes me laugh. But I'm happy for him, and he's got a great support group online. And to me, just shows that. And again, like you said, he's making an original character. When the hell have Marvel and DC? The problem is that they hire these writers for Marvel, DC, even in the movies. These young directors and writers who have no experience doing this shit, or they come from hardly any writing background or directing background, and then they are taking these characters and putting their own spin on them politically, whatever, metaphorically. that's all they can do, though. They can't come up with original content on their own. They're not bright enough to do it. They don't have the imagination. So the reason why that they're still around is because they're taking popular characters that already have been established for years, and now they're twisting them and turning them into their own thing. It's happening with the Lord of the Rings show coming out again. I don't know if you saw the newest trailers came out in the last couple of days because of Comic-Con, and I didn't know the exact number, but every trailer for Lord of the Rings for Amazon is downvoted by thousands. Their original teaser trailer that came out, I don't even know how much, 6 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, has like 1.2 million dislikes. So, YouTube doesn't show it anymore, but there's ways, there's a plugin you can get to get around that. And then even the newest one came out downvoted. People, and they're changing the lore. They literally said, the showrunner said that it's the works of J.R. Tolkien, and the universe can be expanded. It should have been, and we're doing what he would have maybe thought. It's like, well, you're just admit it. I'd rather you just admit you're putting your own spin on it because you want to make it current. And I think it's going to suck. It looks, for a show that cost $1 billion total to make, it looks cheap in some aspects. Some parts look okay as far as not the cinematography, but like the digital effects, and some of it looks really campy shit that me and you would put together on this computer. It's like $58 million an episode or something like that. 53. I was like, what? And yet they make the terminal list. And we've talked about this too. James, wife and I are going to start watching Reacher soon because I heard it's good. So they can make good shows like that, but their fantasy shows are trash. It's really weird. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right, though. I think the culture shift is going to happen, and it's starting to happen. The media is getting a hold of it, and that's why they're attacking him, and that's why they're attacking. Yeah, see, even my buddy Stovepipe here on the comments, they didn't buy the rights to the similar. Yeah, I can't even see what that says. Silmarillion. Okay, yes, that's what the Nerdrotic was talking about on his podcast today. So they can't follow Tolkien. Okay, so this is the problem I have with that, though. So you can't follow him because you didn't have the rights to him. So you're imagining what you want to continue the story on or make your own story about it. You're taking legacy characters and changing their whole backstory. And you're pissing off the fan. This is where this toxic fandom thing comes from. Is it really toxic, though? I mean, again, we've talked about this. If you turn the whole story of Batman in the comics around and make him a completely different character, don't the fans have a right to be like, why are you doing this?
Absolutely.
Spider-Man, any legacy character from a comic or a book. And then that leads into, real quick, the House of Dragons. I forgot to tell you about this. So the House of Dragons show is the prequel, I believe, to Game of Thrones, right? I'm going to pull this up real quick. I want to show you this. I want you to read something that I found today. Now, the showrunners for this already came out and said, "Yeah, we're changing the story. It's based off one of George R. Martin's books." And so they changed the characters. Well, the original show was good for its time, but we have to make it updated. So, by the way, real quick, I know I'm going all over the place. So, the movie National Treasure?
Yes.
I know you love Nick Cage, but anyway, I would say it was a semi-popular. Not the bees. It was a semi-popular movie. It was okay.
It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. It was a decent movie.
Because he wasn't typical Nick Cage in the movie.
Right.
He was toned down a little bit. So Disney has a new show coming out on Disney Plus with I want to say she's a Middle Eastern female lead character as his name, I believe, or similar name. And so it's like, how many things can Disney destroy in really 1 year? They ruined, hold your whiskey bottle. They ruined Star Wars. They ruined Marvel. Marvel is destroyed beyond repair. I'm trying to find this link I found with so basically the House of Dragons. Here it is. I found it. Okay, I want to show you this. So this is actually from the people who created the House of Dragon show. So it talks about how initially there was a lot of sexual violence in the original Game of Thrones show. It was a pretty rough show. So look, they're saying here, the Dragon team is very aware of such criticisms and aim to tackle its material a bit differently. Okay, so I'm reading this and I'm like, where is this going? Shows are a product of their time. And I'm like, okay, that's the first red flag right there, because I know where this is going, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot more awareness now about what we're portraying and why. Who's having the conversations about it? Okay. I got to catch my breath here because I'm starting to get assed up, as Tanner would say. And it says, when shaping the first season, the showrunners realized the theme was coming into focus. I'm like, oh, God, this is going to get good.
Oh, my God.
The patriarchy would rather destroy itself than see a woman on the throne. Now, we know what the patriarchy is referring to. White males. Okay, so they're saying, hey, we saw that, these people would rather their kingdoms destroyed than have a woman rule, right? So, of course, two main people in the show, the women who are going to run things and make it better. And they even say that here. Even say, it was something where we said we must think about we must make this show about this. Now, you don't have to make the show about that, but okay. But rather, it's something we realized that we had in front of us. Okay. Then it goes on. Here we go. And it goes on to talk about one of the characters. There are times where Emma is on one stage and I'm on the other, and we're both surrounded by male characters being idiotic. It seems like there's a lot of idiotic male characters in pop culture now. Thor, they turn into a moron. Who else? Doctor Strange, all of a sudden. He was a doctor. He was pretty intelligent, if I remember, in the comics, right? And even in the movie, the first movie, basically useless in his own movie. So now we're going into this. And so she basically says, and we all know that if these men just effed off, and if it was us just two women, the realm would be fine. It's meddling and the peacocking and egos that completely muddy everything. And then, of course, here's the best one I read. There's also a focus on childbirth and its inherent dangers. Read that sentence. There's also a focus on childbirth and its inherent dangers. A story that basically it's going through the Roe versus Wade thing and how childbirth basically is bad for their characters and all this shit. So I'm sitting here going, like, they don't even hide it anymore. They're just coming out swinging, saying this is what it's about. And again, it's like, okay, well, initially I had interest in watching this show because I liked the first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, and then the last 7 was and 8 was just an abomination. So now it's like, I don't even know if I want to watch this show. I almost want to hate watch it and just make videos off it and profit off of it. Yeah, so I'm like, what do you think about shit like this? Like, they're not even the people who created the show are not even hiding it anymore. And it becomes to the point where now you gender swap people, you race swapped people. And again, this is not to say you can't have characters in movies, but why are you taking legacy characters that are written in books and changing them and saying it's about the current culture? And then you just come out and say all this bullshit. What do you think about this?
I think it's a load of horse shit. You can't sit there. Okay. First off, like, this show is a fantasy, right? It's not based in reality. Like, sure, there's some, kingdoms, kings, queens, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some threads of reality there. Yeah. But this idea that you're going to bring up a hot button topic like Roe versus Wade and kind of force this narrative into the storyline.
That's exactly what it's doing, yeah.
Why would you even
like it's current, Tanner?
It'd be one thing if like the writers and directors were against the Roe versus Wade thing and they spoke out about it on their own, like in an interview or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah,
whatever.
Fine. Yeah, I probably wouldn't like that either. But you're right. That's their freedom of speech, right? You can go out and say that. But I mean, this is based off a book called. This is based off a book called Fire and Blood, of one of Martin's books. So you're taking a book, and he's okay with it because whatever. He doesn't give a shit. He's making how many millions of dollars off this, probably in rights. And so it's like, it just baffles me. And you're right. You're taking a legacy thing, something that was written, it's on a page somewhere where they talk about characters having pale skin and purple eyes and this and that. And then they're saying, well, no, we don't need those characters in the show because we're going to add some culture into this thing now. And they did it with the Lord of the Rings too. They added dwarves that are different ethnicities and queens that are of different ethnicities. And again, okay, fine. But why can't you create your own characters and stories like this? Why do you have to take characters and stories that have been written for years and years prior and change it? It just, to me, it makes no sense. It's like making Goodfellas with like the cast from American Gangster, putting Denzel Washington in the role of Henry Hill, Ray Liotta, or Kevin Hart as Joe Pesci. I mean, I'm using bad examples there, but you know what I'm saying.
Dude, I got the best mental image right now.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's loud and he's boisterous. Like, I mean, honestly, but so would that be okay?
Hey, man, like funny how?
Yeah, I can't stand Kevin Hart, by the way. But like Michael Corleone from The Godfather.
Yeah,
making him a completely different race, or even gender swapping it and remaking. First of all, I would burn the freaking studio to the ground.
Michaela Corleone,
or something
Black
stupid.
female.
It's like, and that wouldn't be okay. So this to me is just as bad. But of course, you know, these big networks, they're gonna get their viewership off of it. You know damn well that both this show and how Lord of the Rings will get viewership in the beginning. But I do think that will taper off eventually, because I just don't see long term. I mean, they're already getting downvoted on YouTube. So if people don't like the show, that's 8 episodes I heard, and I did hear from somebody on YouTube in one of their videos that they know what happens in the first 8 episodes, and it's very boring. Like, there's not really much exciting. And of course, there is an interracial love story in The Lord of the Rings that never happened in the book ever. So they made it up. And again, that's, you want to put that in another story? Okay, I have no problem with that. But speaking of woke,
let's take it up a notch.
I'm sorry, this is too good. Speaking of woke, and I know it seems like we're attacking the. It's just this is so good. So there's this movie coming out that's going straight to Peacock, so it tells you about the quality of the movie, right? It's a they-them slasher horror film. So it's an LGBTQ plus Y chromosome X E equals MC squared movie. So they got the trailer. I can't play the trailer because of copyright shit, but the description is Kevin Bacon plays Owen Whistler. Who comes up with these fucking names? Owen Whistler? That's a character name you fucking come up with. It's a slasher horror film. Here we go. The LGBTQIA plus conversion camp. Okay. And several queer and trans campers join Whistler for a week of programming intended to help them find a new sense of freedom. And of course, as the trailer goes on, people are getting killed. There's a person wearing a mask slashing people up, and then, Johnny, who is now Tina, has to fight their way out of the camp. And it's like, I know they're trying to be relevant. Like, you want to give viewers, right? So you're thinking this is going to be the most ridiculous concept, even if it wasn't a they-them concept. If it was just a regular slasher film, slasher films generally do well, right? Halloween's, whatever. You gonna watch this when you have Peacock? You have Peacock, right? You gonna check this out? Yeah, you're gonna check this out.
Because here's the thing: if this were to be a movie and it was called Summer Camp, right? Yeah. Just like a basic name for a slasher movie, or like Summer Slash Fest or whatever, and it just so happened to be taking place at a LGBT conversion camp, and there's a bunch of freaking LGBTQ teens getting killed, I would actually probably be like, cool, whatever. That's an interesting premise. Yeah. But the fact that they name it they them, gotta hit on the pronouns.
Right.
All this publicity and press for LGBTQ plus IA, squared pi to the, fourth
power
or whatever, that just immediately turns me off, because I already know that this movie is going to have a message behind it. It's trying to push a narrative. It's trying to push an agenda, and I'm not going to watch it. Like the Lord of the Rings stuff you talked about.
No, I would only watch it to comment on it and get views off videos. Like that's how funny it is, because it's like people will think, well, why are you going to watch something you hate? You're a hypocrite. It's like, no, I mean, I'd rather profit from it than, if I can, you know what I mean? That's why a lot of people who I like on YouTube are doing it. It makes funny content to actually hate watch something. It's kind of even if you don't enjoy it. But yeah, I agree. Something like this, I'm not going to watch, and it's not because I'm phobic about anything or anti. It's just a stupid concept.
I hate when the writers, directors put their narrative in the forefront. That annoys the crap out of me. Get your politics out of here. Either side, I don't care. I don't want some.
I agree.
I don't want to see a movie with a bunch of right-wing conservative hillbillies running around with shotguns,
Trump flags everywhere.
Yeah, Trump flags. I don't want to see that either.
Well, that's why
a fucking movie where
I just want to see a good movie.
There's a plot. There's some good acting.
Yeah,
right. Like I don't want we talked about Maverick the other day.
Dude,
there's no example. Like people were saying it's anti-government, or same with the
pro-America, too pro. Yeah.
Oh, it's conservative, but no politics were talked about.
You don't even know who runs who's running the country in the terminal list. Nobody says anything.
What administration was this taking place under? They don't say.
And it might be a little anti-government.
Sure, but that's not a political leaning.
And if anybody has the right to write a story that it I guess can be considered, it's Jack Carr. I mean, the guy, for what he's done to the country, probably what he's seen and knows. I mean, I know, like you said, you're in the military too. God knows what you've seen, but it's like those people, you have the right to be a little anti some things with the government because he's not stupid. He knows he's been fucked over. His buddies, his operators have been fucked over. I'm sure it's like, so that to me is fine. But you're right. It falls along that line. I don't want to see that's why I was so happy when the Daily Wire created movies and the first thing they came out and says, we're not going to put conservative ideals in our movies. We want movies, entertainment, period. The only thing I think that I know, even Terror in the Prairie, I watched that. No politics. The only movie that had, have you seen that? You haven't seen it yet, have you? I
haven't seen it yet, no.
It's pretty good. I mean, and then the only one was their first or second movie. I think it was called Shut In, which was really good. You should check it out. I got to get you on the Daily Wire app so you can watch some of their stuff. It's pretty good. There was one scene, I'm not going to get into spoilers if people who haven't seen it or you haven't seen it, but there's one scene where, a tiny thing about not religion, but just a Jesus moment. But it didn't disrupt from the story, though. It actually fit because of the background of the character. But it didn't take you out of the movie. It wasn't like these kinds of things where it was like so in your face. And so, it was literally one little scene to help the character push through some bad shit that she was going through. But even Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro, who run and own the Daily Wire, said, we don't want our politics in our movies. We just want good movies. I was so delighted to hear that. I was like, because they're conservative, and they have values, and it's like, but we don't want to do that. We don't want to push that on our people. Because he said the same thing, Shapiro. People are going to get tired of seeing that go the other way too. Like you said, the pro-Trump people with rednecks and Confederate flag. I mean, that's not what you know what I mean. But pro this and anti this, and it's like, no, man. Just make good content. And it's kind of funny with the Marvel thing, real quick, where they got really political in their movies and this feminist bullshit. The one movie that succeeded and made so much money for them was the Spider-Man No Way Home movie. It made a lot of money because there was 3 Spider-Men in the movie. It made a lot of money because
very nostalgic,
extremely nostalgic for people like us and our age group and the younger people who grew up watching those with their parents. And there was really none, no messaging, no anti this, no pro this. It was just a fun movie. The only problem I had with the movie is the first half hour of the movie where it got a little too Marvel for me, where everything was a joke. So if you were watching it, I think you would like it. I think the first half of the movie, you'd be like,
where it turn it off.
But it got to a point where I was in the movie theater going, oh God, don't do this, please. Not with this movie. It changed quick. It got dark and the tone changed. And here's what I liked about it better than what this new Thor crap is and what you don't like about Guardians of the Galaxy is that it actually, when the serious moments came, he let them breathe. The director let them breathe and he let them have time. Some comedy followed, but it was enough time to be like, okay, they got that part out. That serious scene, it was emotional, but they didn't jump. I watched the clips of this Thor movie that came out. First of all, this movie is fucking trash. I'm sorry, man. They ruined his character. I mean, I'm talking about an emotional scene where a main character. I mean, are you ever going to see the movie? Can we go into spoilers on Thor?
Love and Thunder? No, I'm not going to see it.
Okay. So the whole plot of this movie is Jane Foster has terminal cancer, right?
Okay.
So something about how Thor, what's the hammer he has? What's the name of the hammer?
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Okay. Somehow, because she has it, she has the ability to summon Mjolnir, whatever, and it has a temporary healing process for her, so she becomes female Thor, right? So it doesn't cure her, but it gives her a limited time. But because it's so powerful and she's only a human and not a god like him, it's killing her faster. So the fucking plot it's stupid. It's ridiculous. It's unrealistic. The CGI is shit. They ruined the main character. Oh God, what is the Christian Bale character in the movie? He's the God Killer.
I don't know his name, but yeah.
But in the comic, a fantastic. And they ruined. From what I understand from people, the first 5 minutes of the movie were very good. They build his story very well, and then it just goes into straight trash. They don't explain anything, how he got this sword to kill gods. It just goes into typical Marvel, Tiki Watiti, Muniti territory. He did Ragnarok, which I know you hated.
Hated that movie.
This movie is worse as far as the comedy. It's literally a fucking sitcom. It's a sitcom, Tanner. Every scene from one to the next. So when you do have those serious scenes, it's literally followed up by 17 jokes.
Yeah, and I can't do it.
No. So where and again, like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, you had Sam Raimi directing that, so you think, oh cool, there's gonna have a horror element. I like Sam Raimi. He's okay, right? Evil Dead, sure. The original Spider-Man trilogy, you could take it or leave it. For some people it was okay. Spider-Man 2 was very good. I think we could both agree that was probably the best one. So he's got a horror element to the movie. The movie was trash, and you could see it in the numbers for the movie, where it had a great opening and then just nosedived. It didn't even hit $1 billion. So anyway, so the Spider-Man movie is the only movie Marvel's made that has probably been the most successful, and they have a lot of shit coming out, man. I mean, they have a lot of shit coming out. Their TV shows are garbage. Their Star Wars Obi-Wan show was trash. This Ms. Marvel show wasn't even, I don't even know if anybody's watched it. Maybe 5,000 people. I don't know. Trash. They have a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. That's trash. I think people are just waking up to this and getting tired of this shit. And God, that gets me so fucking annoyed. All right, let's move on to some sad, but I guess somewhat good news. I don't want to say it's good news. Let me rephrase that. It's something that's impressive and sad at the same time. So we're going to shift gears to this Indiana shooter, the Good Samaritan, I call him. So does the article, ironically. So we talked about this earlier today. We were texting about topics, and I was like, you said we got to talk about this. And immediately I researched it. So you had the shooter in Texas, I believe it was in a mall, correct? Who was an actor shooter situation. So the gunman, of course, had 2 rifles, naturally, and a Glock pistol. 100 rounds of ammunition, supposedly. So there was a Good Samaritan there who was armed. And here's the article. This dude took out the shooter in 15 seconds, landed 8 of 10 shots from, 40 yards away?
40 yards.
Now, let me ask you something. You're trained. Even if it hasn't been a while, even if it's been a while, you're still, it's a skill. You got to replenish that skill, practice. But could you hit this dude from 40 yards out around people 8 to 10 times accurately?
I mean, I'm pretty confident in my shooting skills. But I will say 40 yards with a pistol, high stress situation, 8 out of 10 shots.
People running around everywhere.
Very impressive shooting.
Yeah. I mean, there was surveillance video on it, which I'm not going to show, but yeah, I mean, this dude, unbelievable. And how many more people would have died that already, unfortunately it was sad. Too many people got shot and shouldn't have, but for this dude, and again, it's the good guy with the gun argument, right? And of course, the politicians and the people who are against the Second Amendment and carrying. Now, if they weren't allowed to carry, was he concealed carry, or was Indiana? Okay, so it's concealed carry. That's what I thought. I mean, so if you're on the anti side of this, how do you argue against this?
So the big argument that a lot of people have been pushing, they've been demonizing this guy because he was concealed carrying, which he was doing legally until he went to the mall. See what I'm saying?
Because of the mall,
technically he wasn't. It's a gun-free zone. He shouldn't have been carrying his pistol. Fair enough. Okay, so
Rules are rules, I guess.
the big argument between the anti-gun people, the anti-2A people, is that, well, he committed a crime. So which technically they're right,
Sure.
and Stovepipe nailed it on the head right there. Policy
is not law. He's right. Good call, Stovepipe. Good call.
But it drives me nuts because people will sit there and they will, like I said, they'll demonize this shooter like he is.
He's the act, right?
Like he's the problem. Right. When in actuality, hypothetically, he wasn't there or he wasn't carrying because, hey, I'm not going to carry here. Yeah. How many people would have died? You said 100-something rounds?
100 rounds and 2 rifles and a Glock. So you figure if he had nobody to, if the police didn't get there, and I mean, this guy was the only line of defense for these people.
Right.
First of all, it's amazing how accurately he was able to shoot. 8 out of 10 shots is insane. Now, again, like Stovepipe was talking to me a little bit before the show too. Now, if you're going to the range every other day or enough times, I think you've talked about this, which is very important. Training at a range, very different than being in a life and death situation. I mean, you know, you being ex-military, it's a big difference probably when you trained than being in an actual engagement with somebody. So I personally don't know what I would have done. I mean, I can't say I'm going to be the hero. I'm going to jump up and I would hope that I would have the courage to do something like this guy. If I'm carrying and I can protect people, whatever laws or policy, to hell with it. I'm saving these people's lives. I'm saving my family's life, my life. I see where there's a little bit of a fine line, some gray area with he shouldn't have been carrying in there, but if he wasn't, and again, it's the argument, the good guy with the gun. This guy saved so many people. But yeah, you're right there. This poor guy's been getting so much crap from people, politicians, anti-gun people. It's actually really ridiculous. Yeah, look at this. Glock, 100 rounds of ammunition with him. Killed 3 people. So how many more people would he? I mean, in a mall,
could have been dozens.
Dozens. And the shooter, yeah, they're good. Closing the distance on the shooter as he waved bystanders to flee behind him. So he told people, "Get behind me, and I'm going to take care of this." This guy's, to me, he's a hero. This guy's a hero. Should be commended.
Of your political ideologies, this guy is an absolute hero.
He's a hero.
I don't care what anybody says. Several people could have died. Dozens of people could have died.
Dozens.
There was a threat. He engaged the threat, and he eliminated the threat. Period.
Yep.
This isn't left or right. This isn't liberal. Fuck whatever.
I like Stovepipe's comment here. I mean, I would. Yeah, I mean, and it's not, and I know what Stovepipe's talking about. I know it's not in just for pure entertainment. I mean, yeah, there's some, I guess in a sick way, there's some entertainment value out of that, but it's more of just curiosity for I think what he's coming across, just to see how it all went down, to see how he engaged. Because you could take some note. You would think, right? You could take notes from what he did and say, okay, this is how he applied his idea, his way of his method of getting this taken care of. The ball's of steel, man, to think about. I'm going to draw my gun and take care of this. If I get shot back at, the hell with it. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, man? And you're in that situation, you're in a crowded area or a public area like this. And in Arizona, we're in a state that's very gun friendly for now. More people from California move here. That's not going to be the case much longer, but you know what I mean? Really, maybe you could attest to this. Maybe you could speak to this more than I can, because I don't know. Would you do the same? I mean, would you at least make the effort to do the same thing if you had people around you and families and stuff?
Ideally, yes. I would absolutely engage this threat. Yeah, see, it's all for learning an active shooter versus untrained CCW with a pistol, what tactics were the shooters using, what tactics worked against the shooter. And I agree. It's
very true.
The 2 reasons why I want to see this video is because in my mind, I'm picturing, I'm running through 1,000 scenarios of what it would look
different things,
but I don't know. So the first off, I would like to see more of just a visual. What exactly happened, where was this taking place? Was this the food court? Was this out in front of the fountain?
I believe it was, I want to say, didn't somebody send us a picture of like a not a demonstration, what the hell they call it, like a diagram, and it was in the food court area?
It looked like it was in the food court.
Looked like it was in the food court area? Okay, go ahead, sorry.
So, well, and then I'd be curious, how many people were there? Were there, I mean, I go to the mall every once in a while, and it's not that packed anymore because of COVID and Amazon. So, you know, are we talking like, were there tons of people running around? Were there a lot of, you know, collateral people?
Right.
I don't know. And then, like Stovepipe said, the second reason is break the video down. What did he do? What tactics did he use? Did he use cover and concealment? Did he immediately just attack? Did he, in one of the reports that I read, was he was walking down the active shooter. So that tells me that he was from a farther distance away and then began engaging the target threat and then continued walking up to the threat and taking him out. So I would love to see the video. I mean, I watch a lot of shooting videos. Some, you know, DAs and attorneys will say, oh, this was a good shoot. And in my mind, this was absolutely not a good shoot, or vice versa. So I would like to see the video for myself. Take a look at his tactics, see what kind of training this guy had. I mean, was this
I don't know,
22-year-old kid who thinks he's a stud with a pistol, or did he actually have some training under his belt?
This is the picture of the kid let me see if I can put this back on. This is the picture of the kid right here. Just has his name and then the police chief. I don't know much about him. I tried researching a little more and I wasn't able to find much. Just some basic info about this, but yeah, I mean, there's that whole thing of tactics and training. Why train? Yeah, see, Stovepipe here says, was distance and chaos enough concealment in and of itself?
For sure.
That probably.
Did the active shooter even see him coming?
And there you go. Like you see, like I was saying before, it's a chaotic situation. So, yeah, there's like, as the good guy. Yeah, does that help your case? Does it help your concealment, moving around these people, because the shooter, the bad guy, is seeing all this happen, right? And he's probably, you know, well, God knows what's going on in his head. He's fluttered and he's trying to just mow down people, and then you don't see this guy coming, and then all of a sudden you get 8 shots in your head. I don't even. Where did they even say the placement of the shots? Where they were? Is that he just shot and made out?
Okay. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. But I just can't believe. I mean, it's incredible. 8 out of 10 shots is pretty dang good. Now, I would love to know where the other 2 shots went, but I would have to say it was close. Because nobody else got hurt around him. You know, there was no Samaritan shoot, no civilian shot. Right. Very impressive. I thought that was an amazing story, man. And I was very impressed by that. And I wanted to get your assessment on that because, like I said, you know, being in the military. I know it's maybe it's been a while since but it just goes to show you the importance of the concealed carry. And if you have the right people, you know, carrying in the Second Amendment, this is why it's important. I think Maxine Waters today, this lunatic got on. I saw a video. I tried to find it, but I swear, look it up. She literally said in a 5 or 6 minute thing that the Second Amendment doesn't guarantee you the right to have a gun or carry a gun. Did you see the thing with the brace? The brace for the rifles? One guy said that it turns a semi-automatic weapon into an automatic weapon. I shit you not. A politician said this, that a brace on a gun turns it into an automatic weapon. These are people who are making decisions about our lives and freedom.
So he's probably referring to bump stocks, and he is wrong in his terminology. I mean, technically, yes, it'll make the weapon fire without pulling the trigger multiple times, but it still doesn't mean that it's fully automatic.
No.
So, yeah, and the Maxine Waters thing, like,
yeah, I got to see if I can find that because that was ridiculous, man.
It drives me nuts. Yeah, when ignorant people talk about things they know nothing about.
Oh, politicians don't know what the hell they're talking about. No, it's. The problem is, yeah, you're right. These are not experts, and they don't even try to talk to experts. They just go or skirt around this issue as they go, these things are unsafe. Look how many rounds they carry. Look at this. Look at that. And it's like
9mm will blow your lung out.
Oh, but that's your boy, the Coof boy. I call him. I can't say the word out loud. The Coof president. 5 vaccinations, taking precautions, and he still gets it. I'm not going to go there. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, you can see there's a lot more shit that's going on in the country right now in the world. Those are the main talking points I wanted to get to. So I guess if you want to just kind of wind it down here, we're going to get into this last story. We're going to go a little lighthearted now. All right, we talked about the woke stuff on TV. We talked about politicians, stupid stuff, Mia Khalifa being a moron, Marvel for a while. So we're going to get into this. And I know some people on this stream who are listening probably don't care because they're not sports fans, but we're going to get into this real quick. We're going to go change gears. Arizona State athletic director. Basically, you talking to me about this, how there's a few teams that might want to transition to the Big 12. Is it the Big 12? Yeah.
Yeah, Big 12.
Now, there was this article from the 21st, so yesterday. Now, the athletic director is stating it's overblown and exaggerated, which we all know means nothing, right? He has to probably say this. Well, we know the college football landscape has been changing for a while now. So what do you think about this? What do you think about, what was it, ASU, and who was the other team?
University of Arizona and Colorado.
Sorry, U of A and Colorado. So what do you make of this? And then, obviously ASU is there's a lot of rumors right now. So what do you think about this as far as that conference and moving conferences?
I think that the Pac-12 is in trouble. I'm going to say that right now.
It's a garbage conference. I mean, God,
yeah.
so
we already talked about before in episode 1. SEC took on Texas and Oklahoma, which is huge.
Right.
Two of the best programs historically. Texas hasn't been that great, but historically, Oklahoma and Texas have been absolute blue bloods in the Big 12.
Yeah. Right.
So SEC is going to get them in the next couple of years. So power move by the Big 10. Hey, we're going to take on USC and UCLA, which I think was huge for the Big 10 as far as viewership.
Right.
I mean, you got the entire LA market right there, which is insane.
It's massive.
So now there's talks about what are we going to do with these other Power 5 conferences? Are we going to just cut them all out and it's just going to be the Big 10 and the SEC? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the Big 12 and the ACC are still pretty in the mix. They're obviously much weaker than the SEC and the Big 10, but Big 12 just took on BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and University of Central Florida, which in the last 5 to 10 years, all of those programs have been doing pretty well for themselves. Cincinnati last year went to the playoff, which was insane. They did very well, had a great season. Houston made it to the American Athletic Conference Championship against Cincinnati. They were a one-loss team in the regular season. UCF a couple of years ago with my boy Scott Frost. They went undefeated, beat Auburn in their bowl game. So recent history, they've been doing very well. I think it's a good ad for the Big 12. And then today I saw a story about Arizona, University of Arizona, and Colorado in talks with the Big 12. And I thought,
of course, ASU is playing it off, but they have to until it's official. So
that's exactly what I think they're doing. I think they're playing it off until things
they have to
official. I think they're smart. I think so. Like I said a little bit ago, I think the Pac-12 is in big trouble because they have two options. They can either disperse amongst other Power 5 programs and then just get rid of the Pac-12 altogether, or they're going to have to take on these smaller group of 5 schools in order to fill these slots for all these teams leaving.
Right.
So it's like, okay, do I want to keep the Pac-12 and have San Diego State, Fresno State, San Jose State become Power 5 teams? Now the Pac-12 is going to be completely
changed.
Worthless.
Yeah. It's weird. It's just the landscape of college football has gotten so crazy in the last few years with all these conference changes, and then obviously the ones with the Big 10 with USC and UCLA, and even before that with the SEC. It's like it feels weird because it's like I was reading an article today. A lot of people are happy about it. I noticed a lot of younger college football fans are like, yeah, this is great, right? But the traditionalists, like I said in one of our our first podcast, and people in our age range and older are like, nah, dude, this is not good. I mean, even Nick Saban's not for it, right? But he has his own reasons.
And he brings up good
points. He does. I think he brings up good arguments. I think there's some validity to what he's saying. I really don't know until I see how these conferences form and how the competition is to see if it's a good or bad choice. I don't know. I think people just don't like change. And so the traditionalists, people who have been used to but it's changed before, right? So this is nothing new with college football. I don't know. One way, like I was telling you, I think that for some to see Penn State or Nebraska play some new blood, some different teams instead of playing these shitty out of conference games against Ohio Tech Southwest or whatever the fuck they're called, and then play USC. Who would you rather watch? You'd rather watch the USC Penn State game or Nebraska, or UCLA even. But so to me, it's all money grab. It's all about money in these conferences, and they're gonna have to expand the playoff, of course. But yeah, the Pac-12 is absolute trash. I was looking through their conference, and if this happens,
there's two good teams right now. It's Oregon and Utah.
Yeah.
USC, granted, they just got a new coach, Lincoln Riley, Tim's boy, and then they killed it in the transfer portal, and now they're moving to the Big Ten. So I can see USC becoming a pretty dominant team here in the next 5 years. But as far as right now, it's Oregon and Utah. Everybody else is trash.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out because I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, we're getting close. I mean, to the season now. How many days is it now till?
It's 30. I think it's 35.
35 days. I remember. Yeah, it was 40 something last time you talked to us about that. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm excited for the season to start. For number one, so it's not 115 degrees anymore. And number two, I really look at this. I found this quick article. I found this real quick. I wanted to, so they have following on Twitter before about them making. I know I'm changing the subject, but making toys out of characters. This is Lara Croft. Can you explain to me what the fuck they did to Lara Croft here?
The hell?
Looks like Larry Croft instead of Lara Croft.
Well, they're trying to be inclusive.
Yeah, that's the whole key. Anyway, yeah. So we'll see what happens with the college football landscape. I know I don't see your boy Tim in here today, so I don't know if he's busy or because it's Friday night.
What a loser.
He is such a weirdo. No. So yeah, I mean, any other subject, anything else you want to bring up before we kind of get closer to an end here? Is there any other insightful things that I've missed? We did talk about a lot today in an hour or so.
Yeah, we did. We talked about a lot of topics.
Oh, by the way, okay. First of all,
what do you got?
I'm not going to play this because I don't want to get copyrighted. Well, I'm not even going to show it. There is a teaser trailer for John Wick 4.
Oh.
So and it's March 24th in theaters, which seems like a long time from now. Also, I want to show you this. So John Wick 4 is a must-see, right? That's
for sure.
Here, I'm going to show you this. This is a movie I'm very excited to see. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay. So if I can pull this up without 18 freaking ads coming up. I guess I can play this. There's no commercials. This is a movie we both love Christopher Nolan, right?
Absolutely.
Probably my favorite filmmaker in a long time. So we have this movie called Oppenheimer. Now, people know their history. Oppenheimer was the man who created the atomic bomb, right? The Manhattan Project, I believe. Was that around? So this is a movie by Christopher Nolan. First of all, look at the cast up top. Cillian Murphy's the main guy, which I'm kind of happy he didn't pick Leo or some big name. I like Cillian Murphy.
I do too.
Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., and Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh, I believe, was the girl from the newest Black Widow movie. She's kind of an up and coming.
Yeah, she was in that movie, Midsummer.
Midsummer, right?
Yeah.
Fucking weird movie, dude. Oh wow.
Could not.
I don't know if I like that movie. I don't know if I like that movie. I liked what was the one Hereditary? Have you seen Hereditary?
Hereditary was good. I did like that.
Same director as Midsummer, so I was excited to go back and watch Midsummer. I thought Midsummer was kind of overrated.
It was weird.
It was a little too odd, and the story was a little dumb. But anyway, we won't get into that. So this is an IMAX movie about the guy who created it. And dude, the cast alone. I mean, these are the people starring in the movie. But my excitement meter went from 1 hearing about it initially because I was like, I don't know anything about this yet. So it comes out a year from, I think, tomorrow. It's a long time. But this looks like it's going to be fantastic. And anything Christopher Nolan, I give him the benefit of that. I go see. I think Tenet was the only movie I didn't go see in the theaters of more of his recent movies. I think I was actually when I was sick is when that came out, I believe, or it was during COVID. What do you think, man? Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, 7/21/23. Okay, so it comes out about a year from now. I mean, does this tickle your fancy as a Nolan fan? And it's about history, like it's an actual true story.
I'm totally gonna watch it.
Yeah,
even just for the simple fact that it's Christopher Nolan. But also the cast is incredible.
I wanted to go down the cast real quick. I know we're kind of running. I know wifey's coming home soon, right? Or is she home already?
She texted a little while ago, said she was going to be late. She's doing charting at the hospital. She said it was a crazy day.
Yeah, I can understand. I bet it was. Let me pull this up here. I spell Oppenheimer for a second. I'm sorry. This happens to me. Okay. All right, I'm pulling up the cast real quick. Here we go. So I'm going to pull this up and show you. So Florence Pugh, Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid is in the show The Boys. That's on Amazon. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but he's kind of Matthew Modine, Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr. This guy Kenneth Branagh, he was in Tenet. He played the main protagonist and antagonist. Oh, yeah. Is it antagonist?
Antagonist. He was the bad guy.
Rami Malek, who was I think played Freddie Mercury in the Queen movie. Gary Oldman, which Commissioner Gordon's in it. I mean, come on. Josh Hartnett. Like, I'm looking at this like, holy shit, man. This is some... And Dane DeHaan, who played... he's been in movies. If you saw him, I think he was in that shitty... He played the Goblin in the stupid Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
But he's been in other stuff. But I'm looking at this cast like, dude. Another reason I want to bring this up is because Christopher Nolan's gotten shit that the cast is a little too pale.
Oh, a little too white?
Yeah, and he got the shit for that in Dunkirk, too. If you remember.
Let's not be retarded here. Right? Like Dunkirk, give me historical pictures of blacks sitting on that island getting bombed.
Yeah.
They weren't there.
Now, if they were there and he didn't put it in, okay, maybe you have an argument, but that argument, he gets... Yeah, I don't. That part I didn't get. I didn't remember. I think I showed you the article somebody wrote. I wish I had the source now because people can say, "Oh, you're lying," but that it wasn't diverse enough. Like, what?
I don't give two squirts of piss.
It's a British man writing a story about British soldiers on a beach and Dunkirk actually had. By the way, if you haven't seen Dunkirk, I know some people maybe here streaming didn't like it. I love the movie.
I thought it was great.
Thought it was great because it didn't have the over sappy love story. And some people didn't like that it had no character building, but it wasn't about that. To me, it was just about the guys getting off the beach.
Yeah.
And Christopher Nolan did what Christopher Nolan does. He made it intense, and I love the Hans Zimmer score with the ticking clock in the background because it added to the anxiety. Guys, and you got Bane fighting people in the sky.
Yes,
I'm gonna get him. By the way, I did watch The Dark Knight Rises the other.
Dude. I saw it on, what was it, on Netflix?
Listen. I know we're kind of going all over the place.
Movie, it compared to the first and second movie, it is
We've talked about this. I know we're going way off topic here. So if anybody's listening, I'm sorry for my OCD brain, just skipping topics, but we're in movies now, apparently. So let's talk about this real quick because we talk about this all the time. I want to get it out in the open. I loved Batman Begins. To me, we've had this discussion. It's my favorite Batman movie. Now, I know The Batman just came out recently.
Which is
I love the I agree, and I love the movie. It's so close. I don't know what it is about Batman Begins. Maybe because it's like the actual, even if it didn't totally follow the comic, it was still a great intro to the character, right? Why he became Batman. So I love that movie. And then the Batman is definitely my minus one stupid scene by Catwoman.
White privilege.
Yeah, white privilege. Jesus, they had to throw it in. But yeah, the Dark Knight is the biggest. What's the word I'm looking for? Argumentative thing. The biggest argument with Dark Knight. People say it's not only a great comic book movie, right? You hear this a lot, but one of the best movies. Period. Now listen,
like top 10 movies of all time.
I think as far as filmmaking, Christopher Nolan did a great job. And Heath Ledger did lift that movie up at least a point or two because of his acting, right? That's what most people think. That's a consensus. Was it a great movie? It felt like more of a crime drama than an actual comic book movie. So if you take Batman out of it and make him just a police detective and fighting the Joker instead of Batman, I don't know if the tone of the movie changes much. It was a great movie, but then Dark Knight Rises comes out. And I hear Tom Hardy's Bane. I'm like, oh shit, great. Right? I'm thinking this is, and then they showed that trailer of that scene of him in the plane in the very beginning of, I forgot what movie they played it up. You know how they do that where they play like a clip of a movie before another movie to get you interested. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, this is cool. They're showing the plane. They show him with the map. I'm like, oh, this guy looks intimidating. And then he talks. And then I hear this. I want to say they wanted to be in. I wish they didn't go so heavy with the British accent. Like, I know he's British, right? So is he British? Or is he a different?
Yeah.
So they do English. I hear the.
Yeah, he's a British.
But I'm like, let me go see the movie. So I end up seeing the movie. Before I even got to the criticism of Bane, I put it to the side. I said, fine, let me get to the why I have problems with the movie. First of all, the pace of the movie is so fast. They close up a whole trilogy of movies in like the last 5 minutes of the movie, and it was stupid to me. He disappears. Then there's Robin, who you find out his name's Robin, gets his like what is going on here?
Which is the stupidest thing. There's several stupid things in that movie, but one of like the small things that drove me insane was trying to force this dude as being Robin.
And a lot of people I know didn't even notice that he said that because it was so quick at the end of the movie. Yeah. When the lady's like, oh, I like your name, Robin. And I caught it because I'm paying attention. Mm-hmm. And my wife, Jamie, didn't even catch it. My wife didn't even catch it. I was like, did you catch that? So I'm like, they made his name, like his real name was Robin, not he was Robin from the circus. Like, well, okay, bad idea. Dude. And then had I tied it up with him, like the whole Alfred thing, and when he tells him, I want to see you on a holiday somewhere and not away, and then that's how they end it. And then, by the way, the death scene at the Miss Ra's al Ghul's daughter at the end,
Talia,
probably the worst death I've ever seen on TV or a movie, and a big budget movie, by the way. It had to be the worst acted scene from a major movie in a popular franchise. Or am I wrong? Am I just thinking because I just saw it? Maybe it's fresh in my mind.
Oh no, you're first off. I don't know what the actress's name is, and no offense to her because I thought she was great in Inception. I don't know what her name is off the top of my head, but she is one of the worst castings I've ever seen in my life because the Al Ghuls are more of like an Asian kind of.
Well, he wasn't really. He was British in the movie. In the first movie, Batman Begins, Ra's al Ghul, he wasn't really Asian. I know what you mean. Yes, the lore is,
yeah. It's Liam Neeson, which is like, okay. When I saw that, I was like,
a little weird.
That's not what Ra's al Ghul looks like, but okay.
But if you're putting it in the context of real, they wanted to make it feel real world lived. Fine. But you're right, with her as the daughter. Like, first of all, the plot was stupid. It's the daughter, and she was in the Lazarus pit with Bane, and I'm like, who? Like Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan wrote this? Like, it seemed very rushed to me. It seemed like they didn't want to take that. They just wanted to finish the trilogy because Warner Brothers either told them you got to do it by this time, or they're like, we want to be done with this trilogy. We don't give a shit. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the story you get.
I definitely get that vibe.
Even some of the editing and the fight scenes was really bad. Like the fight scene on the roof where Catwoman's saving Catwoman. He's not even hitting anybody. Like it's, you see him like fake punch someone, and he misses the guy by like 2 feet, and the guy falls, and then she's like not even kicking people, and they're falling. But like it seemed very lazy and fast, which I'm surprised. I probably gave that movie, I think, maybe a 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it was like 5.5.
I was very disappointed. Now, let me ask, it's not the worst movie in the world. Is it a fun movie at times? I think there's good parts to the movie.
Yeah.
Is it a movie that's rewatchable for me a lot? I like the other two better. So I mean, I know Dark Knight for you is not as popular for you as other movies, but you could probably rewatch it and be like, okay, this is I can watch it if it's on TV. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch the first two.
Yeah.
There's things in the first one, like Liam Neeson being Ra's al Ghul, which kind of bothers me.
It was odd. The fight scenes were a little sloppy. Like they were very, very chaotic. You couldn't really see who. I think that was kind of the point.
Yeah. Like he hasn't honed his craft yet, kind of thing.
Yeah, I kind of get that. And then the Dark Knight, the voice, just his voice got bad, dude. The Bear Grizzly. I'm not wearing hockey pants. Very bad. That was a stupid line, by the way. I didn't like that line in the movie.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Well, I know what he was trying to do. It just seemed a little out of place. I don't know, a little hokey. I don't know.
There's a lot of things in that movie I didn't like. It was.
I know you did. We have to talk all the time.
Like The Dark Knight, it gets put up as this like top 10 movie of all time.
Yeah.
Was Heath Ledger's acting top 10 all time? Hell
one of
yeah.
the best.
Top 5
one of the best acted. Yeah, one of the best ever.
But like one actor doesn't make the movie, so.
No.
Christian Bale's acting wasn't as good as it was in Batman Begins.
Not as Batman, at least. No.
The freaking Scarecrow kind of took a back seat. Like I liked Scarecrow's character in the movie because I like Cillian Murphy. I think he's a great actor.
He's a good actor. Yeah, he's crazy.
And I thought he did a really good job. He was creepy. Like he really played the character well.
Yeah.
And then he kind of just took a back seat in the second movie.
He's in the opening of the movie, and then he just goes away.
Yeah, and then they swapped out freaking Rachel, which again, no offense to Maggie Gyllenhaal, she's a perfectly fine actress.
She was probably a better actress than whatever her name was.
Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah. All I wanted was keep it. I don't care which one was the actress.
Keep it consistent.
Like it really bothered me to see a different actress.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, I mean, the movie was popular. It did well. It's probably, you're right. Probably when you hear any Batman movie going forward, even this newest one with Robert Pattinson, they compare it to Dark Knight. Dude, I'm telling you, every argument was as good as Dark Knight. That's where the level was. That's where the bar was.
In my opinion, better than Dark Knight.
There's a lot of controversy with that movie, the new one. A lot of people either liked it, thought it was just okay, or just like, no, dude, it was too slow. I thought it was really good. I loved him as Batman. I didn't think I'd ever think that. Yes. I thought he was a great Batman. Now there's an argument for his Bruce Wayne character. They made a very Kurt Cobain-y, emo, hair in your face. Do you know who I am? My father. I kind of get why they wanted to do that. This is like the young Batman Bruce Wayne years, so he doesn't find his persona yet. But it's Batman. Holy shit, man. The guy fits the suit perfect.
The Batman was the first time where I could feel the intimidation from Batman. Like sitting in the movie theater when he first comes walking out, that first scene where they're about to jump that guy getting off the subway.
Great scene.
I was actually like sitting at the edge of my seat, like, okay, that is an extremely, because he just got done doing his monologue about how,
which was amazing, by the way.
The shadows and
I am shadow.
And then all of a sudden, here he comes. You hear his boots clanking on the ground,
which I liked because in other Batman movies he just kind of shows up, like because he's the ninja kind of. I love the idea that they changed that. And had this, you just hear these footsteps, and you see the 6-foot bat coming towards you because he's a legend. I mean, if I was me and I was a criminal and I see this dude in a tactical bat suit coming towards me and you hear the clanking, I'm like, nah, dude, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Then he kicks ass.
Kicks ass.
Yeah. I mean, I the only issues I had with the movies, I didn't mind the pacing. I didn't mind the score was amazing. First of all, the Batmobile scene, let's get to that, was probably the best introduction of a Batmobile. That was one of the best scenes I've ever seen, period. The rumble, when I was in the movie theater, I was like, when are we getting to the Batmobile? Because it was a long way. It was like an hour into the movie before it shows up.
Yeah.
And then you see the Penguin, which I thought was a good character. Colin Farrell played it great. He's looking for Batman, and all of a sudden you just see in the darkness in the background, just nothing's happening. And he's looking at her. I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm poking Jim. This is it. This is the. She's like, what? And you hear that rumble of that. And then you see the blue light coming out. Dude, the whole movie theater was like, holy shit. People were like behind me going, holy shit. Shook the seats. And then when that chase scene was freaking amazing. I mean, and then when he's walking slowly towards him at the end, upside. I mean, it was just a great introduction to the Batmobile. But I seriously, that was probably one of the most exciting times I've had in a movie theater in years. Yeah. Seeing that one scene made the movie for me. But overall, I liked the movie. I guess the only problem I had with it, I liked the Riddler. People didn't like the Riddler. They thought he was too over the top. I thought he was good. I thought he did a good job. He was kind of scary in the beginning of the movie. The ending to me was a little disjointed from the movie, only because the tone totally shifted from this detective, slower paced Seven style movie to just all of a sudden it was all out action movie, which again, it was entertaining. I didn't mind it. That's the only gripe, but overall, and then the Catwoman, the stupid quote on the roof with
white privilege.
Okay, shut up.
I will give it to her.
Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz. I thought
she did good.
Going into it, I was very skeptical. Yeah. Like I wasn't mad about the casting or anything. I thought every person casted, I had some skeptical, like Colin Farrell, freaking Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, all three of them. I was like, I don't know. But honestly, I was very surprised. I thought Catwoman did a great job.
She did a good job. They fit. The chemistry was good.
Yeah, the chemistry was good. The white privilege comment was stupid as hell.
It was unnecessary.
If she would have just said something like, all these rich old bastards and their money, blah, blah, blah.
Or just all these powerful, privileged, rich people.
Sure. Fine. That would have been fine. But she made it that little dig.
They wrote it in on purpose.
It turned me off a little bit.
It took me out of the movie for about a few minutes. And I was like, I'm in the movie. And I knew it was coming because I heard about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know where it was coming in the movie. I just knew it was coming. I was like, so I'm sitting there with anticipation going, oh, fuck, when is this scene coming? So every time they were together in the movie, I'm like, here we go. This is where it's happening. There's Tim.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, you missed an hour and 30 minutes of
content.
now you're going to have to go watch the replay, you stupid bastard. This is the longest
fucking loop here and get back to us.
Well, here, I want to just leave this up for a minute. This is probably the longest podcast we've done yet. An hour and a half. Are these going to get longer and longer now? Is this what's
mean, I'm a firm believer in at least the content that I like to listen to, like an hour to 2 hours.
I think it's about right. Yeah,
is about right. Once you get over that, it becomes a little too much.
It depends, I guess, on what you're listening to. I like breaking it up. We are gonna get it. What did he say? Show I watch the replay. First of all, learn how to speak
English, bro.
Should you watch the replay? Yeah. Well, when we're done here, it's gonna get published. We have a new intro and outro, by the way, which Tanner thought was amazing.
I thought it was good.
Props to James. It's very basic, but it's good. Like, it's perfect for what we are. You should watch the replay. What the hell are we talking about? Fucking Tim, man.
We were talking about Batman.
Anyways, to get off the subject of Batman. So I liked the movie. I gave it what was my score? 8.5 out of 10, I think.
You gave it an 8.5.
You gave it a 9. Okay, so it's close. Great movie though. I like it. I'm interested in the second one. I just hope. The problem is now I have to pre-screen all my movies and TV shows now by my friends or people that I follow online that I like. Even the movie reviewers that I like on YouTube. I got to be careful sometimes because even them will comment and say things like about certain political. I'm like, really? And they won't comment on it because they don't want to lose their fan base. Where the other ones I like don't give a shit about that, and they're like, "Fuck it, I'm going to tell you the truth." I want us to tell the truth here. We're never going to lie about how we feel. Never going to happen.
No.
That's why these other people are popular, because they're honest, and that won't change. So anyway, we're going to get into other subjects down the road. I want to talk. People might not like this. I want to talk some paranormal stuff that we follow.
Ooh,
and had happen.
You're
I want to do some of that. I want to get, when we do the paranormal stuff, I want to get people in the comments. My wife watches this thing called Paranosis. Have you heard? You know what this is?
I've heard
It's
of
on
it.
TikTok show. It's all I know is every Friday night, my wife and kid are screaming until midnight because they're scared about shit. I'm like, this is the woke me up one night. I'm like, what's going on? I had my gun out almost. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, I heard a voice and I saw this apparition. I'm like, oh my God. But it's interesting. There's some UFO stuff. We're going to get into a lot of subjects. Right now, we're just going. It's hard not to go based off what we're seeing in culture right now with everything we talked about today. It's all relevant. But we will have other little side shows. Eventually, from what I understand, Tanner and I want to do some stuff together eventually.
Oh, yeah.
In
Working on
person.
that this weekend, bro.
My buddy here is working on that. WhiskeyBanger and his wonderful. She's your wife. I keep saying partner. She's your wife. Jesus.
Yeah, for those out there, we're not technically married yet.
Technically married, but they're married. They live together.
Kind of had a kid first. So.
Another one on the way, by the way.
And another one on the way.
Does everybody know what's going on with that, or did you just keep that quiet for certain people? But
no, so we officially posted it.
I saw that. Okay, so everybody knows that. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm having a daughter.
Jesus,
which is scary as hell.
Very sorry.
I'm gonna have every single gun laid out in my house when her boyfriend comes and picks her ass up.
This is gonna be fun. I want to see how this works with you, because I know you know with baby Batman Easton, you're gonna have, it's different with girls and boys, especially these days. It's very tough with girls these days. Now you can do whatever. I know you'll be a great dad. I know you're gonna have your rules, and you and Cassie are going to do a good job parenting. It's just the outside world that scares the shit out of me. Especially, but I think you'll be fine. But I can't wait to see that when you're alone home with the girl and she's old enough, like a little bit older, and she's doing girly things like painting your nails and playing with Barbies and
yeah.
You'll see.
Have like a face full of makeup, having a
tea party. I think Tim's right. I think that she's gonna have you wrapped around her finger, because that's what girls do to their dads. It's the truth. And knowing you might be a little softer with her, especially now that you've had a kid.
Yeah, maybe.
I can see why you're gonna go to pumpkin patches.
I'm pretty. I'm playful and loving to Easton too.
Of course, no, I know that. Yeah, no, I know, but I'm
see the girl being more lovey-dovey and like
you're gonna. She basically asks you to do something. You're gonna do it. Now you're gonna say no now. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna be that. Yeah, that's what girls do with their dads. It's good. That'll be good. That's good. At least you got the boy girl thing. That's awesome. So he'll have a sister to pick on.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of Easton hit me, and you're gonna be drinking a lot of that shit. I'll tell you that much to get through that. Yeah. Between this podcast, your other side things you want to come up with, your regular job and your marriage, you're gonna need a lot of whiskey. Not that the marriage is bad. It's just a thing that it culminates into everything else, right?
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, I tell people this, like guys that I work with, because I work with a lot of younger guys. They're like in their mid to late 20s. They're all single. One of them has a girlfriend, whatever. Sure. And I tell them, I'm like, look, being married, having kids is great. It's hard. Like,
very hard.
You have to have patience. You have to plan everything.
Can't be selfish.
Can't be selfish. Like, dude, I don't do anything anymore. Like I used to sit around and play Call of Duty all day long.
Why do you think we do this though? Because
no,
but then what I'm saying is, like, because of those other things that maybe we would do together, even video games or hanging out, this is different now because we figured out how to get time for both of us to do stuff like this, because you put the baby to sleep. And if the baby sleeps, we could do a show. Like, we worked the whole logistics out. Yeah, my daughter's old enough now. My daughter's 14 years old, so it's like, give me 2 hours. And I got a beef with Tim, so I want to get your opinion on this, Tanner. It's a personal thing. It's funny. So I've been playing some video games lately. I've been streaming. Tim gave me a lot of shit last night and late at night for playing Fortnite. I get it. Not everybody likes the game. It's a child game. They made it better. But I've told you this is how me and my kid would play together, or she'd watch me play. So it's like a bonding thing. We really do spend a lot of time together doing it. She'll give me pointers, or I'll have her play for me, and I'll watch her. You have a problem with this because it's Fortnite? Like, is that okay? Because I'm spending time with my daughter throughout the whole time, or am I kicked off the freaking game? Like, did I lose my man card for playing Fortnite?
I would say no. I don't like Fortnite, but the fact that you're spending time with your daughter playing Fortnite,
right,
it's totally fine.
Yeah, we do it a lot. She likes to sit down here and watch me play, and then she actually is engaged in the matches with me.
Yeah, that's great.
And we talk about a lot of things. Last night we talked about her new starting high school, and we talk about just things she likes. We get we've kind of bonded over that. It really sounds stupid over a video game because there's other ways to bond, but these days I'll take anything. Better than doing that than her being on her phone for the whole time I'm playing, right? Like, at least we're talking.
Yeah.
But Tim gave me shit. 11 o'clock at night. Oh, play a man's game. It's like, whoa.
Well, hold on. Read the comment that Tim just wrote. Pull it up.
He never told me about. Oh, okay. I will. Okay. In fairness to Tim,
if you didn't tell me that you were playing with Jules, I would call you a total douchebag faggot.
Okay, well, you might as well call me a douchebag because it does. Sometimes I do play without her, and I'll take it. I'll take the hit, right? This is the whole point. We're men. We can take it, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time I play with it. I didn't tell him that, so I will. Okay, I apologize to Tim. He's still short, but I did. I didn't tell him about the daughter part. So in fairness to him, I'm not going to really get on his shit too much about that. But I got this new game. I don't know if you've seen this new game. It's about a cat. You play as a cat. Have you seen this? It's called Stray. It's a dude. Okay, exactly. This is what happens when you have older kids. Now you have time to like. There's a whole game built around playing as a cat in like some cyberpunk Asian town, and you have to do these weird. When I first saw this, I was like, "This is the stupidest concept I've ever seen." I've been playing this for like 3 hours in the last 2 days. I can't stop. I can't stop. The world is incredible. Okay, Tim's like, I'm done. Tim's like, I'm done. Play as a cat. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, you're Asian. You eat them.
I've never heard of this game, but I'm leaning towards Tim right now this way.
Well, okay. So this is what I thought. And don't knock it till you try it. That's all I'm going to say. You might not ever play the game, but it sounds stupid in concept. But it's actually not bad. Like, to come up with this idea. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you?
But like, what is the objective of the game?
So you start off, I can't even explain it right. You start off as this cat and you get lost from your pack and you're in this weird, the world building is crazy. You're in this cyberpunk neon town with robots. There's no human beings really. It's all robots and weird shit. So it's in the future. And then you kind of go around just doing these tasks for people and you're getting chased by robot bugs and you have it's fun. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. You just have to experience it. But it's like one of the most popular games on all platforms right now. It's insane. What do you find a bowl of milk? I should have never said anything. Okay, fine. I'm gonna start playing Assassin's Creed again. That's a man's game.
There you go. You just got your man card back.
Yeah, I've been playing that. Well, I can't play Call of Duty because that series sucks.
Well, the new Call of Duties, but I mean, Black Ops 4 is still great.
I play back. I still have that game downloaded. I could stream that. I don't know. I'm insane. It says I'm insane. I love this. You're insane. Yeah, I know. I didn't say I was normal. Who the hell? Anyway, so getting back to the whole thing with Tanner and I, we're going to hopefully do some in-person things. I know he's working hard this weekend to get, I don't want to say it's a studio, but it kind of might be like a temporary.
That's the goal. So our garage is half of it is Cassie's car. The other half is just like a bunch of random stuff like totes.
Yeah.
And
it's air conditioned, by the way, which is awesome.
It is air conditioned. So like I'm going to get this weekend, we're clearing out all of the stuff that's not the vehicle. And then I'm going to just clean it out, sweep, mop, get it super nice looking. Probably not this weekend, but sometime in the near future, get kind of like a little studio set up with like a desk and then like a backdrop. And I'm going to have like, Husker stuff and like Penn State stuff. some
Yeah, we
nerdy
could do
stuff like Super Mario Brothers and
of course Batman shit everywhere.
Yeah, and then set it up to where we can have like
just if we want to do in-person stuff together, we can.
Yeah, and like have a different camera angle. So
that's
we can
another
zoom
thing.
out and just have a camera looking at both of us.
Because we both got laptops, we can bring those. Set up this is all easy to do remotely, and then the camera thing would be something you have to work out, and then just I would think that would be fun once in a while to do. I mean, we live literally like fucking 3 minutes from each other. So, what did he say? You should go hang a Michigan. Oh God, this guy. It never ends with you in this Michigan. He's never going to let it go.
97. It's funny because he rips on Nebraska for having a shared national title.
Yeah.
Notre Dame has like 7 shared national titles.
Well, what yeah.
So listen, what the hell are you crying about?
That's Tim.
And they haven't won a natty since 1988. I mean, Tim wasn't even born when they won.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to throw stones because Penn State hasn't won shit.
Tim probably was just born.
Yeah.
And then they won the natty in actually, no. That's not correct.
No, I think it was what year?
It was in January for the national championship.
Let me see.
So if they won in 1988, no, he's not. Damn it! It would have been the 1988 season. So yes, he would have been just born when they won their natty.
Okay, well, no, Siri's telling me this hasn't telling me shit. That's the worst operating system I've ever seen in my life. You're probably right. I was 11 and a half months old.
1.5.
Oh God. No, does it say 1.5? Oh, okay. He didn't put the separation. I see what he's saying. 11 and a half. I was gonna say, what the hell?
If you want to get technical, he probably jinxed the entire program. Once Tim was born, Notre Dame stopped winning natties.
No.
So
plus, first of all, join a conference like a real team. I know you're a private school, independent. No, join a real conference.
BYU's joining the Big 12, and they're a Mormon school.
There you go. So where's the excuse? No excuse.
No excuse. Join the Big 10.
They're cowards.
Join the Big 10. You know why he doesn't want to join the Big 10? Because instead of going 11-1 every year, they're going to go fucking 8-4 every year.
Yeah.
Because they have to actually play some real fucking talent.
Does that make me the second coming, he says? Makes you something, but it ain't that. We have our own TV. I don't care. See, you're on. I mean, you're on NBC every freaking week, right? Is that what he's?
But here's the thing, though. Like, I will agree with Tim. They have a huge fucking fan base.
Massive.
Like, I know people that are Notre Dame fans just because they're Catholic.
Yeah.
They don't even care about football.
Yeah, they have that Yankees type of following where it doesn't matter where you are. Everybody,
right,
you see them everywhere.
Yeah, like one of Cassie's friends, her family is all super Catholic, and they're all Notre Dame fans. And I'm like, why?
Just because they're
Catholic? Oh, because they're Catholic. And I'm like,
what does that mean?
I mean, I get it, but
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Notre Dame fans travel. You know, it's too bad their wins don't travel.
They do. In my opinion, Notre Dame has the number 2 fan base in all of college football.
Wow. Okay.
Nebraska's number 1. Obviously, I'm biased, but
of course,
it goes Nebraska, Notre Dame, and then number 3 would probably be. I can't give it to Bama because Bama has way too many fake fans.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially the last decade.
Notre Dame does have great fans, though.
They do have good fans. They're obnoxious, but they're good.
They have the number 2 longest sellout streak in all of college football history.
That's amazing. Wow.
Nebraska is number 1.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, Notre Dame fans are great. I will give.
They are great fans, even if they're small Asian people. They are Texas.
I would agree with that. Texas is probably
number 3. It's Texas, so it's like a law, right? You have to. You're born. You're a football fan, right? That's the way it is there.
I would put Oklahoma up there too. They have a lot of diehard fans.
I could say that. There's a lot of teams you could probably reach in and say that, but yeah, I still join a conference. Come on, imagine what that would do for you. Talk about TV ratings. Imagine them.
Think about that. Think about that for a second. If Notre Dame joined the Big 10. Let's say they still have their NBC contract. You're telling me you don't want to see Notre Dame play against Ohio State?
Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan,
like USC here in a couple of years. Notre Dame USC is already a big rivalry. So
it's a big rivalry. Like the money those networks would make. You talk about travel. I mean, if you have to go to USC and play, TV money, traveling fan. Are you kidding me? Well, I think, Tim, you need to talk to some people over there at Notre Dame.
You need to shoot a fucking, write up an email and send it over to Lou Holtz.
Yeah, Lou Holtz. I love Lou Holtz. I love the way he talks. He's the man.
With his like little lisp thing.
Yeah. Jeez, guys.
So, when I coached at South Carolina in the SEC,
these guys are just best team I ever coached.
I mean, Tim's right though. I understand why they're staying independent. Like there's a lot of money involved.
Whoa. So who does the Big Ten games mostly? Is it ABC?
ABC and Fox.
Okay, so you're telling me Fox and ABC wouldn't give them a comparable contract to switch? Or is there just a lot of shit there that it's too hard to...
Dude, Lou Holtz is not the best coach ever. Don't even fucking try to say that shit.
No, I don't think he's the best coach ever.
Off the top of my head, I can name like 4 coaches right now that are better than him all time.
Especially the one in Alabama.
Yeah. Freaking Nick Saban. Freaking, I'm going to say Tom Osborne, Nebraska. Bear Bryant, Alabama. Freaking, I'm gonna give you a shout out, Cannoli. Your boy at Penn State. I can't even remember his name.
The current coach?
No,
you mean
Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno, yeah.
I think he's a better coach than Lou Holtz.
He was a good coach, yeah.
Yeah.
Notre Dame got a bigger contract than the Pac-12 network did in the last negotiation. Well, of course.
He's right.
We just talked about the Pac-12. You missed that part, I think. They're fucking garbage. Pac-12 is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Go ahead.
That was a huge mistake that they made with the Pac-12 network. Like, dude. Oh, best Notre Dame coach. Yeah, I'll totally agree.
Okay, yeah, for sure. But the way you phrased the statement was that he's the best coach ever. He didn't say Notre Dame.
Don't you dare speak ill of the best coach ever.
That doesn't say Notre Dame, right?
That sounds like of all time.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for the Notre Dame coach, for sure. Lou Holtz is a great coach.
100%. I love Lou Holtz. I like Lou Holtz. Yeah, I agree.
His biggest mistake was going to South Carolina, though. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't know why he left. What was the reason why he was there? Like a specific, I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
I don't remember why.
Did he just want to change, or was he just tired of?
I think they were trying to push him out.
Yeah, I think because he was. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's usually the case with those kinds of coaches. He did not look the other way during child abuse. We're talking about coaching.
Looking at you, Paterno.
Yeah, trust me. A
lot of problems. I feel bad, dude. That dude's entire legacy was tarnished because of that.
You know, it's weird, man. I remember, and I think the movie was biased. I remember when the movie came out on HBO. Paterno. I think Al Pacino actually played Paterno. It wasn't a bad movie, but it was really one-sided bias. Like it was obvious that he knew everything. It's like I think he probably did know. I don't think you can be that high up in the program like that and not know something, especially because what's his name was his friend, right? They were buddies.
Yeah, the coach.
People came to them. I think partly he was afraid to speak up because he didn't want to ruin his legacy, and it was a little bit of an ego thing. I mean, if he knew, it's bad. Either way, but I
think the big thing, if I remember correctly, he knew about it and he reported it through his chain of command instead of just calling like 911 and saying, "Hey, this is what's going on." He ended up saying something to like the athletic director, and then it went up and up and up. And then when it finally came out, they're like, "Why didn't you just? If a crime was being committed, why didn't you just call the police?"
Yeah. It's a fuck. If I put the program back so far, I mean, to where they are now is a miracle from where they were back then. Yeah. But it got me Franklin. Yay. Sorry, dude. I just don't like
I just don't understand. Penn State blows my mind. You guys are always in like the top 10 in recruiting, and yet you're 6 and 7.
I had a big problem with the way they played. Last year was a major disappointment, and there was a lot of things. The quarterback got hurt halfway through, and
sure.
Something about the team last year, though, their defense gave up a lot of big plays and big moments. Their offense was gone, just disappeared. Their running game was terrible. They disappointed last year. I'm not saying they were good enough to be in the playoff. I mean, at one point they were in the playoff for a week. Then they just deteriorated after that.
Yeah.
But they won. This year, we'll see. I mean, they have a great recruiting class. They got a new defensive coordinator who was he the coach of Miami, the Hurricanes?
Yeah.
What's his name? I forgot his name. My buddy tells me about him because he's a Hurricane fan. I forget. He said he's a good coach. He's a good defensive coach.
It'll come to me.
Tim, yes, Manny Diaz. I think that was a good pickup by them. So we'll see. Would you trade Frank for Fleck?
I would take Fleck all day over
in a second. I don't like Franklin. I don't think he's a great coach. They're never going to win they're never going to win a playoff game or a championship with him. Never going to get into the playoffs and nevertheless win a national championship with Franklin. I don't think he's a good coach. He's not a big game coach.
No.
Will he get you 8, 9, 10 wins occasionally? Of course. He'll be consistent. He reminds me of Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I think Jim Harbaugh's a better coach though than Franklin.
I think Franklin he's been successful because of his recruits.
Yeah.
Like he has talent. The dude has legitimate NFL talent and they win games.
Yeah.
Now, if you take a coach like Fleck, who gets a bunch of 3-stars and then wins a bunch of games, makes a little run for that, Big Ten freaking championship, picture Fleck with a bunch of 4- and 5-star recruits.
Dude, it would be insane.
I
was kind of, the funny thing is there was that whole rumor of Franklin going to USC, right? That would be fucking, that would be hilarious. But he just signed a contract, Franklin. But that would have been funny, especially with USC coming to the Big Ten now.
Yeah.
I think I would not have been upset about that.
If I'm you, I want a different coach.
I've been telling you for you, I don't like him.
Yeah.
My father can't stand him, man.
I feel like you've seen what Franklin can do, and that's about it.
I've seen the most he's capable of. His capacity is where it is. It's not going to go higher.
He's going to win 8 games. That's
the thing I always felt with Harbaugh in Michigan, right? I have Michigan friends who are fans. I would text them or be like, "Oh, he's the best." He's not the best. Some guy told me last year that he was the best college coach. I'm like, no, he's not. Are you kidding me?
He's not even a top. He is probably. I would put him at number probably 3,
top
maybe
5.
4 in the Big Ten.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, yeah, that was, and then my argument with him is he's the same. I mean, is he a better coach than Franklin? Yeah, I'll give you that. Is he to me though? I mean, I hate to say it for people who are Michigan fans. I think he's slightly overrated. I thought, I know what he did with the NFL. He got his team to a championship and they lost, or a Super Bowl and they lost. So of course, him going to college, expectations were high. I don't think he's done amazing things at Michigan. Have you?
I mean, this last year was their best year.
It was their best year, yeah. Pat Fitzgerald or Franklin.
I would want Fitzgerald.
I would want anybody over Franklin at this point. Like
Fitzgerald he's a really good coach. The problem is Northwestern's academic standards are so freaking high.
Yeah,
they can't recruit as well.
Top.
They landed a 5-star offensive tackle. And it's like, holy shit. Northwestern is actually going to get some real talent for once.
Okay, yeah, Michigan's relevant, but do you go to Michigan to be relevant or do you go to win championships? I understand what Tim's saying here. I get it. Like, he made them a name again. They were not as good until he got there. I'll give you that 100%.
But I mean, if you're going to get technical, Cincinnati's relevant.
Right.
So you're telling me a group of 5 team made it to the playoff.
Right.
And got beat. And then Michigan made it to the playoff and they got beat. So it's like, yes, he's winning games, but in my opinion, Mel Tucker's a better coach at Michigan State. Ryan Day is a better coach.
Ryan Day, yeah, I give you that.
Mel Tucker beat Michigan last year. That was their freaking one loss was to Michigan State.
Right.
Ryan Day is a better coach. I think PJ Fleck is a better coach. Granted, I'm not talking teams here. I'm just talking coaching ability.
Coaching. Yeah.
So, as far as coaching goes, I would put Harbaugh as probably number 4, maybe even number 5.
I mean, I get that, but your whole goal to go to he's talking about Harbaugh. So my thing is with Ohio State, you were sent there to beat Ohio State,
and he hasn't. I mean, he did last year, but
he did last year one time, but overall he's got a losing record against them. What was his? I mean, could you look up the? I don't know if Tim can do this. What is Harbaugh's record against? What was it last year? He had a losing record against the top teams in the. What the hell was that stat?
He has a losing record against his two rivals.
Like a really bad
record.
record.
State.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I mean, I get Alabama. I know that's tough. I know Georgia was insane last year. The SEC is stacked. You're still Jim Harbaugh, right? You're getting paid big bucks to win natties. That's your whole goal. So if from what he was touted as by being sent there, from what he did in the NFL, he sent Cap and the San Francisco team to they won the NFC Championship like 3 years in a row and went to the Super Bowl one of those years. And okay, your expectations are high. Yeah, 3-8 Michigan State. That's a terrible record.
That is a terrible.
Your in-state rival and then your cross-state rival, your biggest rival.
And what's sad is that Michigan State hasn't been good. They were good last year.
No,
they haven't been good before Mel Tucker showed up. So
that's my point. So I just something about the guy, man. Like I'm never going to say he's a bad coach, but he's not as good as everybody thinks he is.
He's a good coach, but he's not Nick Saban. He's not Dabo Swinney. He's not
going to take you to that next level.
Ryan Day. Like some people will say that Ryan Day is not a great coach, but he's a great recruiter.
Right.
And it shows. I mean, Ohio State right now, I believe, is number 1 in recruiting.
Jesus.
For 2023.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Because why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, they're number 1 right now. Notre Dame's number 2.
Jeez. I will say Ryan Day's not a good coach. Well, Tim thinks Ryan Day's not a good coach.
And I won't necessarily disagree with that. I don't think Ryan Day is a top-tier coach, but I do think he's a better coach than Harbaugh.
Sure.
But he's not a Nick Saban. He's not even a Kirby Smart.
I agree with you. I think that I don't know, man. It's just an argument. It just depends how you're looking at it. I just get back to Franklin. I just don't like him. I'm sorry. I don't.
I just feel like the Franklin train has run its course.
His play calling and late game situations, close games is atrocious sometimes, and I know that some of that. It's not. I don't know. I just don't like him. Some of the stuff I saw last year I didn't like. Injuries or not, they just were a different team. The first back half of the season they were in the beginning, and I know, like I said, there were injuries there, but they still had a pretty decent team. For them, weren't they like number 4 at one point? No. Higher than that, I thought, right? Before they lost to Ohio State, they were in the actual at the time in the playoff.
Yeah, they
would have. I think they were 3 or 4, right? Yeah, they were playing great, and they just bottomed out, man. Golden Domers. I love our coach. Marcus Freeman is going to be the new hot coach.
Hey, man, Marcus Freeman.
Yeah,
I need to see more of him, like play calling wise and whatnot. Right. But as far as recruiting goes, Notre Dame is killing it right now.
Notre Dame's doing well. They're doing well. They have some high expectations going into this new season. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see. A lot of interesting dynamics in college football, especially going forward. But I think we're in for a treat when it ever gets here.
I'm just sick of the SEC, man. Like every year it's freaking LSU.
Dude, they're just loaded.
And
they added more time.
I'll just say this. I am so glad that Clemson was able to win a couple of natties because at least someone outside of the SEC won.
It was a change, yeah.
Like all it's been is Bama, Georgia, LSU. Like, can we please get someone else? Anyone
or anything, I agree.
Anything outside of the SEC for even just one season. Give me someone else.
Yeah, I agree with you. It'd be nice to see some change. I mean, but again, going into the season, it's going to be tough.
I mean,
still got Bama.
Tim and I already got a bet. Ohio State's going to win it all. I got him winning the Natty. I got him winning. I got CJ Stroud. He's going to win the Heisman. I see it.
They're damn good. They're a damn good team. It pains me to say that. Sorry, Cassie, if you're going to listen to this eventually. But,
I see Georgia taking a step back.
They lost a lot of players in the draft, so yeah.
Yes, I see Bama being really good, but I think their offense is not going to be as good as Ohio State's offense.
No, Ohio State's pretty well balanced, and they're good.
Dude, Tim, I could not believe when I read that earlier today. Like,
yeah, that whole thread was incredible. That was some good research there, Tim, about that guy.
I mean, you nailed it. The dude's a homer. That's why he freaking.
Yeah. Bam. I got to tell you, Bama is gonna be tough, man.
I agree.
They're on a revenge tour. Would it surprise me if Bama won?
No.
It never surprises me when Bama wins. Do I expect them to win? I think Tanner's right. I think Ohio State's probably the favorite. But Bama, no. Bama every year. They're a favorite. They're a contender every year. Their recruiting is ridiculous. The coach is ridiculous. We'll see how it plays out. I'm interested to see what kind of upsets we're going to get. This is going to be fun, I think. Well, it'll be fun until halfway through the year where my team probably just pulls a typical Franklin Penn State thing. And they start off 5-0, and then they trash the rest of the season. That's his MO.
I think there's going to be a couple of quote unquote dark horses making a run.
Well, there usually is one. Like last year, Cincinnati came out of nowhere, right? Yeah. I mean, they're talented, but nobody expected them to. And you could say what you want, strength of schedule. They still played amazing.
Yeah, I can definitely see. I could see a team like Oklahoma State being right there, like number 5, number 6.
Yeah,
I could see Baylor being in that top 10 position.
Baylor was good last year.
I still don't see Clemson though. I think I don't trust.
Who's their quarterback?
DJ Iguodala.
Yeah, so that
who was a big time 5-star out of St. John Bosco High School.
Okay, I remember. Okay, now I remember. I was just reading about him, and then I'd like to add Tim. LSU is the dark horse.
Is that because of Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, I was gonna.
It's probably because of Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, but he might not be wrong. I mean, LSU's got. I mean, they've been kind of on the downtrend for a while, but they're kind of due, right? I mean, how's their recruiting been this year? I haven't really paid attention to LSU.
LSU always. I mean, they're always in the top 10.
Yeah, of course.
LSU historically, their biggest problem has always been quarterback. When Joe Burrow showed up, you saw what kind of freaking damage LSU can do. Yeah. So if they have a legitimate quarterback,
they'll be good.
Personally, So we got Brian Kelly's freaking offense with Jaden Daniels, and I don't disagree with that. Now, personally, I don't think Jaden Daniels is that great. I mean, he's no Joe Burrow for sure, but like,
he's an improvement
from the options that are there right now. Yeah, I would say yes.
Oh, I totally think so.
He's a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah, I think it's an improvement. I think they'll be better. Or maybe Tim's right. We'll see. I mean, that's LSU's definitely due. There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of different dynamics to this season coming up.
I'm excited for this season because this is going to be, like, in my opinion, the first real COVID's in the back, in the rear. Finally, we can just focus on like recruiting,
football,
focus on football. I will be curious to see what Kelly can do at LSU in year 1.
I'm very, very curious. That's going to be fun, I think. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he can do. What transfers are you most excited to see? Oof.
I would say, well, obviously, being a homer, I really am excited to see what Casey Thompson can do with Mark Whipple as the play caller and quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator. Because he's the reason why freaking Kenny Pickett's in the NFL right now from Pitt. So I'm excited to see what Casey Thompson can do. I'm excited for I want to see what Keaton Slovis can do at Pitt now that he transferred.
Right.
I would also say Caleb Williams from who transferred from Oklahoma.
Let's pull this up. Look at this. This is all the.
Yeah, Caleb Williams. I think he's gonna. I mean, Tim nailed it on the head. Like, he was already in a good offense at Oklahoma that fit his style, but I think USC, the way they've been freaking recruiting, the way they've been killing it in the transfer portal, I could definitely see.
This is interesting.
Caleb Williams having. I think USC is going to have some struggles a little bit. I don't think they're going to go like 12-0. I think they're going to go like 10-2.
That's a pretty damn good
games. Just trying to figure themselves out a little bit.
I mean, look, this is Tim's voice.
Spencer Rattler, dude.
Rattler. Jesus.
I'm not excited to see Spencer Rattler, but I am going to watch because I think that dude's a bust.
Yeah, a lot of people feel agree with you there. There's a lot of, this transfer portal is insane, man. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent that moved. Like Jahmyr Gibbs went from Georgia Tech to Bama.
I saw you just look.
Like,
Of course,
that dude is a dynamic running back. Freaking Travis Dye. That's another guy. He was a pretty good running back at Oregon. Now he's at SC.
Kamar Wheaton went from Alabama to SMU, huh?
Man, that is a downgrade and a half.
Wow. Well, I mean, he's a running back. So what's the situation with the running back there? Was he just never going to get playing time in Alabama? So
he's not going to get playing time. I mean,
so he's going to a small school. He'll be the star there.
Yeah, like Nebraska, we picked up a defensive tackle from Bama, Stephon Wynn. He's a 4-star guy. I mean, big time recruit. This dude never saw the field because it's Bama and you're just surrounded by talent. So he transferred out.
Jaleel Billingsley went from Alabama to Texas. I remember that.
That Jaleel freaking, Urkel, Steve Urkel, fucking.
He does look like
trouble at Alabama, so I can see why he transferred out.
Okay, that makes sense. Still,
yeah, like he just did some dumb stuff, like missed some meetings and whatnot. And he got on Nick Saban's bad list, so he ended up sitting on the bench for a while.
Here you go.
That's a dude I'm really excited for. He big time freaking defensive end from TCU. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I thought it was Oshan.
Is it
somebody else said Ochan? I'm not sure.
Ochan? It looks like Ochan.
Super excited for that guy. He's a big play guy. I think he's going to do some damage for us.
This is wild. There's a lot. I mean, this is insane with the transfer portal.
This guy right here, Drew Sanders, at the top of the linebackers.
Yeah.
He's another guy. Bama recruit.
From Bama.
4-star recruit. The guy was a total stud, and he just sat on the bench. I watched that dude in Arkansas spring game. He was all over the field.
Just all over the place. He's a madman.
Psycho.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. This is going to be fun to see because, like you said, there's a lot of what's this? There's a lot of well, there you go. Brandon. I remember when Tim told us about Brandon Joseph leaving Northwestern for that's Notre Dame. There's a lot. This is going to be. Here you go. Is it Tommy Hill or Tommy from ASU?
Yep.
Nice.
4-star guy. He's a physical cornerback. Like, bring it on, man.
Yeah, this is interesting. Like this is going to be a very interesting. This transfer portal makes it even more curious. There's just so many moving parts now. It's such a different. We were talking about earlier. It's such a different. College football's changed a lot. It's going to change even more, but
it's weird because it's changed so much, and some of it is for the better, and some of it is not.
It's not. Yeah, that's what we were saying.
It's this weird balance where it's like NIL deals are insane. And it's, in my opinion, ruining college football.
Well, a lot of people feel that way. It's changed. It's changing things. And, yeah, you're right. I mean, the players just signing with teams because they know they're going to get licensing deals, they're already set for life. They don't even have to go to the NFL.
They don't even have to go to the NFL.
So it was one of the unique things about college, right, is that you didn't have that. You were trying to get to that point. So – but then again, there's the other argument, like if they're using your name and likeness and making money off you, it's a fine line. It's really just, of course, money always comes into the factor and fucks everything up, but that's the way the world is. You can immediately change your team with one transfer portal session. It's true.
I agree. That's what Nebraska's doing right now. I mean, starting next season, we have a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, 2 corners, a defensive end, defensive tackle that are all going to be starters that transferred in.
Yeah.
So it's like, holy crap. I mean,
here you go. Here you go. This is all the Nebraska transfers so far.
Adrian Martinez, bye, bro.
Sorry. Oh God, the guy drove me crazy. I'm not even a fan. You guy drove me nuts. I watched the games and Casey. They did good, man. I think I told you this the last stream. They did really well with their transfers.
Yeah.
Like they really did well. I see improvement for them. Is this there? No, it was just the transfer. Okay, yeah. Hey, dude, I like them this year. I think they're going to do better than people think. I want to see without Martinez there what they can do. I'm looking now. Look at. See, Penn State didn't have a lot. I forgot Noah Kane. I forgot went to LSU. I forgot he went to LSU.
That's surprising.
This kid Mitchell Tinsley. I like this move. I like him from Western Kentucky. They needed receiving help, so they got that.
Yeah, you guys are very weak at receiver.
Very weak. Because they lost what's his name in the draft too. God, who was that? What was his name last year? The top receiver, small dude.
It's
my God, how much? Yeah,
it'll come to me.
Tim, what was the receiver's name from Penn State last year? The small guy was fast. God, I can't believe I forgot his name. But I mean, again, of course, linebacker, edge. You know, what else is new from Penn State? Yeah, this is interesting. I'm very curious.
Yeah, Tim got it. Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson. That guy was a burner, man. They need, yeah. So they do have some weaknesses there. We'll see. I mean, again, just be competitive. Give me something to root for. I don't know. I will say maybe Tim can attest to this because it's been so long though. Why I'm looking forward to the fall this year is 2 reasons. One you're going to agree with, Tanner, and one you're not. One is because college football is around the corner. It's a time for us. It's the opposite of everywhere else where the weather gets nice for us, and it's just a nice, good time of year. There's a lot of shit going on, but KJ Hammer, right? I have a little bit of a bonus though for me. My favorite time of the year is usually the fall when you have your college football team. My NFL team. I root for them, but I hate the NFL. You have football going on, and you also have your baseball team that's doing really well. So right now, the Mets are in first place. They have a chance to be in the play. My favorite time of year is when both teams are playing at the same time, and you have multiple games on. You have a chance to get into the playoffs as your baseball team, and then the playoff games. Then you have football on one screen. To me, there's nothing better than that. I know you don't see it because you hate baseball, but the excitement of the fall in general.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the fall.
I think as far as just a fandom thing, though, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, definitely. I like college football is fun.
Especially it's rough for me because the only sport that I watch is college football.
It's college football. Yeah.
So all year long, I watch nothing.
You just watch it old game highlights, and
that's all I do. I pay attention to recruiting.
Play some video games once in a while.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think, I get it. I know a lot of people who are like you, who just don't give a shit about anything else but football or just college football, and that's fine. I get it.
College football. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't. There was a time, probably 10, 15 years ago, where I kept telling myself, all right, this is the year. I'm going to get into baseball. I'm going to watch the Diamondbacks. I'm going to follow the team. And, I'm going to start supporting the team and all this shit. Dude, that shit lasted for like 2 weeks. Watch like 2 or 3 games.
Fuck you, Tim.
Damn.
I hate you. Yeah, he killed us. I hate that bastard.
Well, that's my boy. I mean, I don't like baseball, but he's my favorite baseball player.
I get it. It's not for everybody. I understand why people don't like it, especially if you didn't grow up with it or just didn't. It just wasn't. I get it. I just think it's just cool when it's 2 things going on at once. Because when I was a kid growing up, fall meant baseball. When your baseball team was good, that was really fall. When you got to October, playoff games, World Series. And then, of course, football was a bonus. Now I see it the kind of like a mixed thing. I mean, my baseball team hasn't been good in a long time. This is the first time in years where they've been good. So it's kind of exciting. But I get it. Except for this Chipper Jones bullshit. It's Larry, you mean? Larry? Call him Larry? I love Chipper Jones. You know why? Because he named his daughter Shea from Shea Stadium because he used to kill the Mets so bad there. So he named his daughter Shea. I got to respect him for that. I thought Tanner would love baseball because it's all strategy. I mean, their strategy doesn't mean that it's going to be exciting to him to.
True, and I mean, in that sentence right there, he's not wrong. Like I do like strategic things. Like I love playing chess, but in my opinion, football is the more strategic sport. I
mean, yeah. Well, football's a lot like playing chess. That's why.
Right. Like one team picks a play, the other team picks a play.
Yeah. It's a different kind of strategy in baseball.
Yeah.
It's a little slower. There's a lot of managerial mind game shit, matchups. It's a little different, though. I get where Tim's coming from, but it's a little different. I guess similar and different at the same. I don't know. You're never going to
hate about baseball. There's like 3 things I hate about baseball. 1, unwritten rules. That shit's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
2, the game is a little bit slow. Now,
course.
I understand when people make the argument that it's anticipation, right? Like, oh, he's going to strike him out, or oh, he's going to hit a home run or whatever. I understand that.
Right.
That's a good point, what Tim just said right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things.
And I don't follow it at all. You know, like I don't even know what the fuck a split-fingered fucking whatever. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means.
There is a thing with hitters and pitchers with a mind. You want to talk about a mental. Baseball is it's a lot of mental over physical, because let's face it, it's not the most physical sport. So it's a lot of, like I said, pitcher getting in the batter's head, or a good batter who has good numbers against a pitcher getting in the pitcher's head, and sequences of pitches. There's a lot to it. But again, it's not for everybody. But the unwritten rule thing to me is kind of hit and miss. I mean, I kind of get where Tanner's coming from. Like, it should just be a strict set of rules and just stick to those rules. But I don't know. You know, when there's a lot. What's one of the ones, Tim? I'm thinking of. You know, when there's a no-hitter, don't bunt. That's kind of an unwritten rule. To me, you're just trying to get a hit. And if it's a close game and you're trying to win the game, I don't give a shit. If you're winning 12-0 and your pitcher's throwing a no-hitter in the 9th and you bunt, there's an unwritten rule. You're not supposed to do that. Just take the fucking no-hitter and take the L. There's an argument to be had there. Like, Greg, understand why a backdoor slider on a 3. Sorry, Tanner, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to comment on what I don't like about the unwritten rules thing is it's so freaking subjective. Like, one player doesn't give a shit. Another player is like, oh my fucking God, the sky's falling. How dare you hit a double in the bottom of the 9th when you're down by what?
Yeah, I get that. Understand why a backdoor slider on a 3-2 count for a watching at third strike is so beautiful. Oh, I mean, I get it. It's the matchups with a good at bat. Like, I watch, you know, when I watch my guys, Scherzer or DeGrom pitch, and they're just mowing down people, or they're facing a good hitter, or guys on base, and then that whole sequence. I love it. I like it. Crossing the mound, no bunting during a hitter, no stealing up one by a lot. Those are bug the hell out of me. Yeah, those are the kind of unwritten rules that I. Maybe because it's such a tradition. It's such a traditionalist game. There's so many little things. I get it. Some of the unwritten rules that people break kind of annoy me. But again, the whole point with the sport now is they're trying to get casual fans like Tanner back into it, but they're making it worse. They're not bringing fans in. They're just making young people, casual fans don't give a shit. They just don't. No matter how many runs are scored, it's just they're just not doing a good job. No bat flips. I like the bat flips.
See, I disagree with that. I don't like.
You don't like the showman. It's showing up the pitcher kind of.
There's no difference between some jack off flipping a bat and fucking PO pulling out a fucking Sharpie and like signing
or
something.
Going to the middle of the star.
Here's my thing. This is what my dad used to always say about professional athletes: act like you've fucking been there before. You're a world-class fucking athlete. You've hit 1 million home runs. Why are you flipping your bat on the 555th home run you've hit? You've done it before.
Yeah.
Act like a fucking.
Yeah, I think that was I can see that. A lot of people feel that. A lot of people feel that way. I know a lot of my family. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people in my family who are traditionalists don't like they feel that way.
Number 3, why baseball fucking sucks. And it's an inherent problem with the game itself. Superstar players get minimum access to freaking showcasing their skills.
They do not do a good job of advertising.
If you're a stud hitter, you only go up to bat 4 times. If you're a stud fielder, it depends on if the ball goes to you or not. Think about it. Tom Brady, stud. Michael Jordan, stud.
Yeah. Then they're always
in their hands the entire fucking game. If you're a complete stud, you know, Tim's boy, Bryce fucking fuckboy Harper, the dude goes up to bat, strikes out twice, and hits a single. Okay, cool. Where's the superstardom? Like, I paid money to see these big, grandiose fucking plays.
Yeah,
that's why I love football so much.
It's a tough sport for the stars because I mean the stars are stars. They're going to produce when they need to generally. like the Mike Trouts of the whatever. Well, and Bryce Harper. You could say what you want. I don't love the guy, but he is a star. Yeah, I mean, they do need to market their stars better. Baseball's also a weird thing because if you don't, I guess it's okay. Let me ask you this then. So let's attribute it to this. Let's see if this is a similarity. In football, if you have a great offense and a bad defense, or vice versa, you're not going to win a lot of games, right?
Sure.
They'll keep you in games, but they're not going to win games. Baseball, you could have the best lineup in the history of the game. If your pitching sucks, you're not winning games. So there's some similarity there, some parallel. But I think baseball is the most unfair. The most fair and unfair. It's a great teacher of life that you can get everything right and still lose.
Still fucking lose.
To me, it's very much like regular life. You could do everything right. You could be the best team on the field. Some guy hits a stupid, shitty bloop or a little infield hit to score the winning run. It's like, come on, are you fucking kidding me? How many times I've thrown my controller through the fucking wall because of that?
Another thing that I will say about baseball that is a turnoff is
no cheerleaders.
Games don't fucking matter. Like, you motherfuckers play like 10,000 games in a season.
It's a long season. Yeah.
You can be barely 500 and you're like the best team in your fucking division.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't even like explain this to me as a casual, not even a casual fan because I don't even like the sport. Tell me why I should watch a game on a Tuesday night in the beginning of the season. My team is under 500. They're having a freaking.
Well, you would do it for the fandom. That's why. Like
it's strictly just for your team,
just for fandom. Yeah, I get what you're saying. If you're a casual fan, are you going to watch the Diamondbacks? Suck this year, right?
Yeah,
they have a good future, I think, but they're bad now. So to watch them on a June night on a Wednesday after work, you're doing it for a couple of reasons. If you're a true fan and you just want to see certain players play that you know are going to be good, or you just like watching baseball. If you're a casual fan, you're going to turn the channel immediately. You're going to go watch something else. Yeah. And that's another thing what baseball is suffering from too. There's so many other options to viewing content on so many platforms. Casual fans are turning they're like, fuck it, I'm not watching this. This is terrible. First of all, let's talk about the fucking contracts with cable. You can't even get to watch your home teams, and I don't know how many, like 30 markets around the country or something, because there's disputes with the carriers. But right now, unless you have DirecTV, you can't watch Diamondback games locally. I'll tell you why. The same reason you watch spring football or preseason games is to see. No, that's what I just said. But you have to be a baseball fan to appreciate those things. If you're a casual fan, don't give a shit about the sport, you're not going to care about those development things or the little thing. Me and you, Tim, would care about the little things, right? I don't love spring training. I think it's kind of boring. I'll only watch it to see certain players that maybe can come up with the team. I've changed a lot as I've gotten older as far as watching baseball games. If I have other things to do, my priorities shift. Yeah, there you go, Tim. It's not a matter of like Tanner can watch spring football and like this is great. Yeah, he has a genuine love for the sport. He's always loved the sport, so he's going to catch those things and want to watch those things. Baseball is just a regular, like, maybe I'll watch a game once a year. He's not going to give a shit. I don't, I understand.
This is where I don't understand the comparison, because yes, I do watch spring football. I watch high school football of the players that are committing to Nebraska.
Right.
So yes, I understand what you're saying, but the difference is that spring football game doesn't matter. Whereas these games and early on in the baseball season, technically they do matter.
Oh yeah, I mean they count. I think
record ends up being.
I think maybe what Tim's stating, what he tried to say is like it's like watching winter baseball or spring training where it doesn't count. You're just watching development of certain players or little things that are okay. And that's something that's what I look for. Yeah.
I'm going to go check out a spring game, like a spring training baseball game. I'm going to have a couple beers, eat a hot dog. Hey,
it's relaxing.
There's a couple players on this team that I like. I'm going to follow.
That's exactly what it is.
Totally understand that.
Up and coming players that are in the minors who are trying out for the team, little things like that. Yeah.
But to sit there and tell me that this is going to develop into something later on down the road in the regular season, that to me immediately turns me off to baseball. Because all that tells me is that the beginning of the season doesn't matter.
I get your point. The funny thing is, you could look at it a couple of ways. You could say that the April, May games are bullshit. They don't matter because there's so many other games. There are times where teams late in seasons who do make a run to make a playoff run, who have maybe lost 10 games in April and May that they could have won. Where that's where it makes the difference. It's a freaking marathon, dude. It's a long season, so I get it. Maybe Tim can kind of add to this. The baseball's a long season. You almost, as a baseball fan, you almost feel like the team becomes. This is kind of exaggerating. Becomes part of your just daily routine, almost like your family member. You're like, the game's on. Let's put it on. You know what I mean? So you just kind of it gets intertwined a little bit. You really just kind of get invested. But yes, I watch the D-backs games now because they have a couple. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. They have young guys that in a couple of years are going to be good. That's what you like to do. I do that with the Mets when they're bad too. I follow some of their games. It does help when they're good. They're in first place, so it makes it much easier to watch. But you're never going to turn somebody like Tanner into a baseball fan, and that's what the commissioner's trying to do. But in the meantime, he's ruining the sport for the fans that are already there. It's the same shit that we talked about with the comic book stuff and the books changing and the you're trying to appease people that are never going to give a shit.
And if I was you, that would piss me off.
It does piss me off. I don't like what he's doing to the sport. He's basically he's like the fucking Biden of sports. He's incompetent. Doesn't know what the fuck he's saying half the time. He's changing rules, and then he just plays it off. He's an asshole. He's a terrible commissioner. He's probably one of the worst in sports history. He's terrible. But again, the difference is that in some aspects, I think Tanner. We've talked about this when we used to work together. You can not like the sport, but you can respect the fandom. I don't like hockey. I don't love hockey, right? I watch hockey playoffs because I think they're exciting. I don't love the sport. My dad likes hockey. You want to talk about loyal fans? Hockey fans are insane. I respect the fandom. I don't love the sport. Baseball is a juxtaposition of a small sample size. Yeah, no, I agree, Tim. It's tough. It's tough to compare because of the length of the season. It's a long season. I will say, though, when your team finally does win, it's kind of funny. If Mets were to win the World Series this year after watching 160 games and all the playoff games, that ending is that much more special. They probably won't because they break my heart every year. But I get it. Yeah, I get it. I think here's the thing, though, Tanner. Tim and I were like, let's go to a baseball game, just hang out one night.
I would totally go.
So that's the thing. He would go.
I would go because it's an event, not because
it's just something to do. For you, it would be like a night out with the boys.
Yeah, like we're gonna have a couple beers. We're gonna shoot the shit. I'm not paying attention to the game.
Here's a question then.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Tanner's he's fucking staring at the fucking ceiling. Like, what is that? No, but the cool thing from Tim and I would be if you had questions, we would have fun answering those questions for you. You know what I mean? Kind of like an education in the game. Well, okay, here's the point, though. What if Baby Easton loves baseball? What are you going to do? Now, odds are he's going to be a football fan because you're a football fan. The sons follow the father kind of thing.
Well, I'm going to indoctrinate him.
Well, would you let him play Little League, though? I think Little League is fun.
I mean, I played Little League as a kid.
That's my point, yeah.
I don't remember it.
Right.
That was probably freaking trash. Like, I remember playing T-ball even.
Yeah. I think most kids play
that. Dude, even if my kid wants to play basketball, I'm going to support him in whatever he wants to play.
100%. Yeah.
Now, basketball sucks. Even worse than baseball, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Dude. He's right ahead of fucking basketball. But what if Baby Easton becomes a fucking dad, I love football, but man, baseball is my passion. Like I really love watching baseball. I know you would support him.
I totally would. I would coach him up as good as I can. I mean, I don't know all the.
Well, that's when you call the experts in.
Yeah, I'll bring you guys over and be like, "Hey, teach me."
Yeah. So here's how you throw a 12-6 curveball.
Yeah, this is a freaking cannoli knuckleball.
Cannoli knuckleball and the Filipino fucking meatball. We're gonna teach you. Yeah, we're gonna teach you how to do the little things a bit. No, I would love it. I'd be if he was a little leaguer, or it doesn't matter what sport. If he's playing football, we'll be the first people in the stands, ready to attack the other parents. Yep. Kids when we're It's gonna happen. He's gonna play a sport. I have a little league pitcher striking out Tanner.
Probably.
You have a little league pitcher striking out Tanner. Well, consider you're like 4 feet tall. Wouldn't you be considered the little league pitcher?
And not to mention, I haven't swung a baseball bat in probably 10 years.
No. 10 years, huh?
Dude, I don't play baseball. I will say I am going to have to wrap this up.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I was going to say it's getting late. I know we went way past our time, but it's been fun. We did a lot. We did a lot of talking today. It's going to be fun. I'm going to let you go because I know you have business to take care of at home with the Cassie coming home. Say hello for me when she gets there. So we'll wrap this up today. We will be back. I'm assuming next week at some point, right? Maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. I'll do the YouTube shorts that I've been putting out. I hope people are watching those things. I think they're funny, but I'm going to do some edits this week of this show, and I'm going to do another couple of my own side shows, and I'm going to do another rant video because I think those are hilarious, like cutting yourself to death for the CD thing. I think that was pretty funny. I got a lot to do, but I have fun doing this. I think this is great, so let's keep it up. This is the Whiskey and Cannolis podcast, episode 3. So I want to go ahead in our new outro, which I think is fucking amazing, by the way.
Do it.
I will talk to you, Tanner. I'll text you tomorrow just to catch up, see how the show went. If you rewatch it, let me know, and then I will talk to you again next week on the show. We'll schedule a time.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Later, buddy.